Hello everybody and welcome back to the Valorant Champions Tour with our final day of the open qualifiers. And of course to all of you that reside in the United States of America, happy 4th of July. My whole shift with me is Dust. And before we go on, I just want to take a small moment just of course to thank all of those that have served in the United States military, either past, present, or potentially looking to do so in the future. It's been 245 years as of today in this great American experiment. Just happy to be a part of it. And of course, be right here with you guys on the weekend. Gorgeous day today for some Valorant. That's much to be sure, but Dust, how are you, sir?
Doing pretty good, man. Just glad to be back in the casting seat right away after having a cool day yesterday where most of our favorites have already made it through. Maybe a couple of twists and turns along the way on their journey to challengers, but they've got there nonetheless, and we still have several fantastic teams still left to go with a few more spots left to decide. As you can see, Sentinels, Xset, Envy, and 100 Thieves all making their way into the first challengers event. Again, not only give themselves a chance to qualify for the Challengers Finals through that event, but also guaranteeing themselves a spot at worst in Challengers 2, which is a really good path to set yourself on, as it only gets harder from here as your Challengers 2 open qualifier will only have 4 spots available for Challengers 2, so much harder to get involved over there. And as you can see, we're going to have V1 taking on Luminosity as our opening match today on the main stream. Over on the second stream, we will have Anbox taking on Gen.G, and then later we'll have Cloud9 versus Rise for you here on the main stream as well. As, of course, we also have to watch out for Virtuoso and the Pioneers.
Yeah, how about it?
A couple dark horses come through, and so we're guaranteed at least one new face, I guess you could say, to Challengers.
Very much so, and that was kind of the big storyline for us yesterday on the second stream, watching some Cinderella stories try to unfold, but couldn't quite reach it all the way to midnight. But for sure, one of those will turn into that beautiful princess at the bottom. I don't know where I'm going with that. But regardless,
when a reference goes too far, you know, I guess
it's just a little bit overextended on that one. But that's what we have coming up for you guys. Again, like Dust had mentioned, this is just the open qualifier number 1. The main event for Challengers 1 comes up next weekend for those that do qualify after today. For those that don't, they'll have a second chance to get through the open qualifiers, and of course we'll kind of do it all over again, have a regional finals, and then Berlin will be waiting for us at the end of all of this for the upcoming Masters. So a lot to look forward to as we get through the summer months, but specifically for these two squads, hey, we've got a Masters representative on the table for us as we have a chance to look over some of these rosters. Version1, of course, the big Cinderella, even to put together one heck of a run through the lower bracket just to get to Iceland in the first place. And you thought for maybe a moment they might just do it again when they were in Iceland, but cut a bit short of where they would have loved to have been, I imagine. But the big key here is the fact that Thief is actually going to be filling in with Version1 today. Also,
Whippy has made his return, right? Jammies is, of course, filling in for them in Iceland, and so they're going to have Whippy back. So, not quite the full 5. You said Thief having to stand in for Zelsis due to a punishment that was dealt officially by Riot to Zelsis. And so that means that Thief has come in, and that makes it even more interesting because, of course, he is a former Luminosity member. He was their star duelist, actually. So that adds another little curveball, I guess, to the storylines that we'll be seeing today. But yeah, like you said, it was kind of Version1 coming out of nowhere, right? Like, they didn't do really well in stage 1. They got knocked out in all the different challengers qualifiers there, but then they kind of made this resurgence throughout stage 2, making it to the challengers finals, beating out Envy, Cloud9, and Energy to get that second slot for North America in Iceland. And then once they got there, hey, they did pretty well their opening games, beating Crazy Raccoon and Team Liquid, and then getting knocked out by, future finalists, essentially, in New Turn, and then Fnatic, of course, was the one that actually made the grand final there against Sentinels. So yeah, very solid team, lots of great players. I think Penny is probably the one that stands out the most as kind of that jet, but also can play some other duelists. Really, really strong fragger. And Zelsis was also a big star for them, though. So Thief has big shoes to fill, but again, he definitely had his moments on Luminosity where he looked like he could definitely do it. And with Luminosity, they're in shambles, man. I mean, they've gone through so many roster changes coming to this stage. They're very hard to put your thumb on at this point.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. We kind of had the same conversation for a couple of the teams yesterday where it's like, they do so well kind of on the upcoming and on the rise, and all the big organizations say, hey, that guy looks pretty good, let's take him. And that's kind of the same situation that's been kind of unfolding for Luminosity. Now, they will be still holding on to your boy Dre and all the kind of core duo-ship that they had from before, but a couple of new members that we will definitely highlight as we get into game. Speaking of, though, here is our best of 3 series set. Starting off with Version1 map pick, they will go over towards Haven. We'll have the reverse onto Split, which is really good news for Version1. And then Icebox, if we need it, would be there for map number 3.
Dude, this map pool couldn't be better for Version1, honestly. I mean, they come into Haven, the opening map of the series, with a 75% win rate with near 30 games played. Very strong attacking side of the map in particular. Feel very confident there. Have played a bunch of different comps kind of over their last several games, but no matter what, they seem to be able to piece it together quite nicely. And then, yeah, when you look at the rest of the pool with Split and Icebox, those, again, very much at the top of the map pool for this team. Again, they're above 70% win rate on Split. And then going into Icebox, they're near 85% win rate on that map. So a very powerful team in all these maps in the pool. Now, the old Luminosity, very strong on these maps as well.
Correct.
But again, I don't know if it's really worth mentioning. I mean, Ban and Dazzle are brand new signings. Tig is a stand-in for Moose. So they are going through a lot. Again, had a very strong start to 2021 when they won that Winter Championship for Nerd Street and beating Sentinels in the grand finals. That really kind of all of a sudden got people paying attention to Luminosity. But while they had a really strong stage 1 for the VCT, consistently kind of placing in the top 3 in the Challengers events and looking very powerful, they struggled throughout the last stage. Didn't even make it to any of the Challengers events. Got knocked out of both qualifiers. So, they're obviously going through a very big restructuring phase right now, and it's hard to really know where they're at this point as far as, what type of shape they're going to be in coming against, a Masters finalist here in Version1.
Right. Yeah, it's really tough, I think, just for Luminosity and a couple of other squads that we've seen so far get to this point where they're in the top 16. And it's, can we just hope that this formula really does work? Because, your opening days, you're really expecting to run away with wins, no problem. But when you start to play up against the heavy hitters, that's where the question marks come through. And at least for Luminosity, they did get a test versus Complexity yesterday, and they have been flawless so far through their run. So who knows? Maybe there is something to be said, and you had a nice little perky moment of, ooh, I have to imagine you're looking over at V1 side for that.
Yeah, Cypher coming in for Thief. That is crazy. Cypher is definitely an agent that at times Version1 would run on Haven in the past. So, I would say that they did play Killjoy a good bit for a time on it, though, and then they even had some Sentinelist compositions they would run on this map. But they're bringing the Cypher back with the Sea Thief on it, a guy who is very much known for like his Reyna and his Raze. Definitely makes it interesting. I think that might just be because V1's probably coming with new comps, and maybe that's something that Zelsis will fulfill for them at some point.
Right.
And they're just kind of plugging and playing Thief in there to kind of keep everything else comfortable. Because I know they've still been practicing with Zelsis, so I think that they're still trying to focus on that long term. But everyone else, kind of an agency you would expect with Andy to be on that control. They're obviously Penny coming in you know, as that Jet, and Effie's coming in as a Sova. So other than that little Cypher coming back in for Thief, that is kind of what I expect from Version 1 comp-wise.
And V1 already setting themselves up for an aggressive takeover towards the B site. Dazzle taking a peek through the dark cover just to see. Paranoia will come out, but it actually affects your boy Dre more than anybody else. Luminosity will still get through, but the spike is planted. V1 setting up for a post plant safer over towards B window. Vanity helping out with the capital T shots will find Proto for first blood. And Luminosity are in a really tricky spot. Even beyond that, take a look at Thief. He is all the way around the back for the flank from the side through C. And he is in a position to absolutely deny any play for this defuse. This comes down to LG. They're trying to run out and deny these players that are on the backside, but all of the kills turning up for Version 1, and Luminosity's retake will never really unfold.
Yeah, very just much a storming there from Version 1. No issues there. And yeah, but basically what you're seeing, I feel like out of Version 1 and coming to this Haven map, is a situation where they're kind of getting away from, you know, some of the, you know, duelist compositions they were running before. I mean, they were also running a lot of like Viper Astra combinations at Iceland against Liquid and New Turn, but
yeah,
now just focusing on putting in the Omen, with maybe people kind of thinking, you know, that Astra got a bit nerfed with this patch with like less starting stars and not being able to pop them right away at the beginning of the round, and taking it longer to rotate stars if you want to move them around the map. So getting, you know, Omen back on the getting Vanity back on the Omens. He's always been our controller for this team, and keeping that Viper still implemented though on the team.
Oh,
what a shot.
What an opening shot that is from Penny. You heard the Bulldog just behind to assist, but Penny gets credited for the kill. And the take go to the C site, very clean. Thief finding one whippy another, and LG still have yet to find an elimination. And if that were to change, it would be down to both Proto along with Tig. And Thief is the first point of contact that'll come through. Beautiful shots from Thief. Right up top, takes down Tig, no problem. Effie's caught mid-jump. Will allow Proto to get Luminosity on the board for a kill, but you would feel like this is a 1v4 that will be pretty impossible for him to maneuver with.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much a done deal. No real need to harp on it any longer. Again, I think the only real thing you can point to is that, you know, this team did like to run double duelists with Penny and Zelsis, but they were already kind of making the transition to a solo duelist and, you know, making sure they had the Viper with another controller of some sort, and then, you know, making sure they still had a Sentinel also in play. So V1, again, already kind of trending that direction anyway, and they're just kind of keeping that in place even with Thief filling in for Zelsis. As, of course, Whippy kind of comes in just playing that Viper as he already was. Again, Jamie's was that fill-in for Iceland, but, you know, other than that, I feel like everything's pretty much what you'd expect from this team, as they did have Zelsis playing some Killjoy in Iceland.
Yeah, and, you know, it's just really interesting because I think everyone looks at Zelsis as being one of the mainstays, whether it's by personality or by performance, for this Version 1 squad.
Right.
And so everyone is very excited to see him come back into the stage, but of course we'll have to wait a little bit. But it really, I think, just bodes the question for Version 1, maybe in this match particularly, but of course in the future while they're waiting for him to come back off penalization. You know, what is going to be what Version 1 wants to do? Like, how much do you really adjust away from what the roles were to build you so much success through Iceland?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Everyone's obviously experimenting with new things, with all the big changes that were made to different agents, and obviously economic changes. You know, KO's on the way in, next Challengers event, and people really are keen, it seems, to be implementing KO as like maybe a flex secondary duelist type character. So I think there's a lot of that going on. But right now in this round, we're seeing what is basically a C retake setup from Luminosity, and V1 will oblige by taking it, but they also have Penny as this potential sewers flank through A site that could absolutely backstab and crush this retake if he times this perfectly.
We'll see. Luminosity going to have to move quickly to get through this. Vanity, really good paranoia coming right through, but is good for the recon pull. So the fight will be pretty much 50-50. Vanity able to find one, but the trade will be there. V1 still trying to hold on to the site, but it's LG who gets there first and foremost. Now the long play from the flank. The snake bite going to deny the initial plan. Penny has revealed himself with a kill into Dazzle, so we stay 3v3. But your boy Dre moving forward. Big point of contact, wins the gunfight, gets the overhill. Now Penny into the site, trying to clean up, finds one. Effie's with the shock dart a second. Dre running out of time, has to make a play. And at this point, there's no way that he's going to be able to find the defuse. And with the escape, Whippy finds the exit kill, and V1 go up 3-0.
Yeah, almost a solid retake there from LG. Again, they were playing off of C site. They knew that that was their vulnerability. It's kind of a choice that you have to make defensively on Haven. A lot of time, if you're not going to be proactive in aggressing one side of the map for early information, you're going to likely have to play a retake, or you have to do the two in tandem. Just because there's so much area to cover, you're going to be spread too thin. So playing for a retake is often, you know, something you're going to find yourself having to do. And, you know, they elected the C option there, and it just didn't work out for them. Definitely had their moments, you know, take out a big frag. They were starting to find themselves with your boy Dre as well, but eventually we did see V1 able to hold on, and now it seems like they're throwing a bit of a fake pressure at C, as the spike is certainly in that A lobby.
And Penny's actually going to full commit to this. This is so much confidence going off of just the SMG, even the paranoia to help out. Classic in the mix, but Dazzle responds. But like you mentioned, this was all just a sleight of hand as the entire play was dedicated towards it.
And you feel like V1's kind of playing into Luminosity's low economy with that type of tactic, right? Like, you know that they're going to probably bite down a little bit earlier with the big rotation, having to roll the dice because they have the inferior firepower and they know it. And so V1 just kind of winning the mental chess match that's taking place there, out-positioning LG. And some guns being brought down, though, by LG, so making this one maybe a little bit more expensive than V1 were hoping.
And from here, you feel like Luminosity, you just capture this weapon and then run away, and that seems to be the case. Dazzle still going to peek, maybe seeing if he can get ahead over through the A site, but that will not be allowed. No one's actually on the site itself, so 4-0 for V1, but I agree with you. The kind of head fake over towards C, even committing, knowing that they have an economical advantage, but this is still getting pretty expensive. Whippy finally takes down Proto, so no weapons will carry on to the next round for LG, but still, like you mentioned, a little bit more expensive than V1 probably would have liked.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just that brain trust kind of coming together from Version1. You know, obviously Vanity, a guy who's a very experienced in-game leader, and I feel like he's shown throughout his time with Version1, you know, as well as the coach Emmy from the UK. Shout out to him, of course. Definitely well known for being a tactical mind from Counter-Strike, and, you know, Vanity kind of being a student of Steel for a time, kind of being on the same team, and then taking over the IGL as Steel was the first to transfer of those two. Vanity brings a lot, you know, being able to bring pacing changes, play defaults, play faster pace, and also be able to frag pretty well for an IGL.
Vanity's going to stick to from the shadows. Penny in with the Blade Storm. Has yet to buy an assault rifle, by the way. This has just been SMGs and blades so far through 5 rounds for Penny. The take of the A site is technically successful, but LG look like they actually want to try to recontest this very quickly. Penny not going to be able to get the right click off in time. Hunter's Fury coming through, and the perfect timing for that, as Effys is able to convert not just onto 1 kill, but a lot of damage, and now LG have to back away and reconsider what they want to do.
Don't know if they'll be allowed to.
Yeah.
Now it's all on Dazzle here. Again, a new member to the team coming over from E United, trying to make a name for himself here. Gets tarded, though, and it's not looking good.
Fight gonna come right to him. Vanity finds the kill, perfect timing. And just to let you know how it went, there it is, 5-0 up for V1. And, you know, here's the big thing, you know, for Version1, I don't know what your thoughts about this is, but when they were going into Iceland, when they were playing in full rounds, or both teams had full purchases, they were one of the worst teams at Iceland going into the tournament. That has already been a drastic improvement, at least from my standpoint, through these 5 rounds.
Fair enough. And also, you have to excuse me, it is true that Dazzle was formerly E United, but that was in Counter-Strike. Yes, of course, formerly of Ghost Gaming within Valorant. So that gets a little bit confusing sometimes when it's the same orgs and same player. But we got there in the end. This was just kind of good. Like, yeah, Penny going down is rough, but able to get that quick communication for Effys to be able to pop the Hunter's Fury, knowing that they're kind of stuck in that lane on the lower side, and being able to really put in the damage and, you know, get that assist, obviously, coming in there was just a really good reactionary call. And now they're up 5-0. They have a Neural Theft and a Viper's Pit coming into play. Huge weapons to use for a take and a post plant. Hunter's Fury is available for Luminosity, maybe like stall out a plant, or maybe try to use it to get aggressive somewhere or something by opening up a lane of attack. But, I mean, it's just one of those situations where LG has, you know, elected to play some different retake setups, and unfortunately they're not converting on those retakes. And now they have little to work with.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Gonna need to put something together here and do it soon if you're Luminosity. I mean, this is, of course, like we mentioned, Version1's map pick, but the whole map series really does look good for Version1 when it comes to how they played through Stage 2 and, of course, what they played at Iceland. Trying to get in towards the ultimate orb was banned, and he actually gets tagged up so heavily that I don't even think he fully collects, or if he does, it wasn't enough for him to actually get the ultimate. So that is a costly exchange for him down to critical health, and Version1 will actually get a little bit of information here through Sewer, pending that, of course, they are able to seize things off Effy's drone, which you have to figure they probably just did.
Yeah, doing a great job creating presence at middle, keeping people at the B site interested while also getting a little bit of, you know, pressure over towards Sewers. They're going to put that Viper wall down as well towards that A site to kind of really keep LG having to respect that the A execute could definitely be underway. And all the while, they're using this to, create a vulnerability, which they're now exploiting. They're able to get into Garage. They've created so much presence on A and B side that now they can just run the C split, again, force LG into a retake that they've been struggling with. And now they have to do it with even less, the inferior firepower that they do have. A pretty quick flank coming off thanks to Tig's push through A side.
I'm pretty sure he has a judge, though, so he's going to have to get in there if he's going to find value. Viper spit. Seemed like it was, yeah, there it is. So I was going to say, it's taking a minute to come up onto the screen, but that's going to be Whippy who pulls that to make sure that the exchange through Garage is contested. Effie's, meanwhile, able to find Tig on that long flank, so the judge is not going to come into play for the flank off the retake through from LG. Spamming through, and V1, oh my goodness, it's just so clean. Drake, last one up. Nice for 3. Opportunity to keep moving forward, but he's going to be at 1 bullet and 1 point worth of health. Trying to find Whippy, has pushed through. Beautiful shot. So Drake makes it interesting for 4, but in the end, V1 will still secure the round.
Yeah, again, expensive, though. You're forcing a lot of rebuys, and now he's going to get the ace there, gets to save a Phantom, gets to force everyone from V1 to have to purchase weapons once more. And it keeps their economy in check, right? It doesn't allow it to spiral out of control. Now they can force V1 to save sooner if they're able to actually convert a buy round coming up. But V1 still getting the victory. Just a big flurry of frags after the Viper's pit goes down, making it tough on LG to find headway. But your boy Dre seen up to the task. And again, he was a big pickup for LG. Definitely a duelist that can have a lot of impact. It's just unfortunate that the rest of the team is kind of folded, except for a Proto, who has often been regarded as certainly one of the better Sentinel players in North America for quite some time.
Good shout out there. Big shouts to Proto. He really has been, I feel like, slept on for a long time.
Yeah.
Definitely in my top 5, probably.
Yeah, definitely a
players. He's really good.
Really, really solid Cypher for sure. Always has been.
Point of contact through B. Dazzle will read that it's not just one, but it's multiple. And with that information, Tig says, all right, time to go ahead and use the Hunter's Fury, of which he is going to be empty on. So for V1,
plant, though.
Whether or not they were trying to actually get a plant down, they do force out the Hunter's Fury, and there's still tons of time to work with.
Yeah, you kind of wonder if they were doing that on purpose to get the Hunter's Fury out of play, because they already had this Viper wall down on the A side. So that could have been a very calculated, just let's rush in there, let's kind of force that Hunter's Fury out. We'll leave someone behind, which is going to be Thief, the lurking Viper. He's going to be able to pick up, and he spots the Omen ulting as well. He's going to get the Neural Theft down. He knows that Dazzle canceled, and he'll be able to get that frag also.
Also knows there's more coming around the back. It's Thief for 3. Impressive solo play from him, but after Proto finds the trade, Tig responds with one of his own. So we've got a 2v3 retake very possible, and it looks like LG want to go sooner rather than later. Recon Bolt will reveal Effie's position. He throws a shoulder. It's mostly being shot off as Tig finally converts with a headshot. But we're in a 2v2 situation in which you've got snake fight lineups coming through for Whippy. But that said, they have to be successful. Finds one, caught with a knife out. Does he reset?
Oh,
Not going to happen. And Tig, after the Hunter's Fury got baited out from him, turns it into 4 eliminations and saves the first round for LG.
That is such a tough loss for Version1. It seemed like everything was going their way, Shift. I mean, they had the perfect B feint. They were able to leave Thief in behind. He gets a couple of kills, cutting off those rotations. Gonna dwindle the numbers to make the retake way more difficult for LG, as the A take was well underway. You have Whippy set up with the snake bites and long to really guard that post plant. They had the Neural Theft, obviously, to give them perfect intel on player positioning from LG. So, I mean, all the odds seemed in their favor, basically from this point forward, up until, you just have LG brute forcing their way through, even with low numbers. And then, just Whippy kind of getting caught this pants down, jumping around and long. I mean, that's obviously tough. So, finally, around on the board for LG, but they must build off this, because otherwise they're going to be forced into immediate save.
Yeah, this is actually a round where even they still, with the win, cannot get to full economy, but Fan does have the blades out, finds Thief for the first pick. Massive for sure, as you know, the Lurker is for sure down. Empress is also going to be popped here for LG defensively, and now the next hit for Version1 will be sent right through middle. Penny coming out. Dazzle completely blinded up by the paranoia, and Penny's going to turn that into instant aggression onto the C site. Proto, what can you do to reinforce our statement about your Sentinel gameplay? How about that? Finds the first, no problem. Fan also a part of this play. Not going to find the first. Trying to get some patient shots with the knives, but misses completely out, and Vanity keeps the play alive for what would technically be a 1v3.
He's been darted, though. That's going to make it tougher on him. He's trying to maneuver around it the best that he can, putting that smoke down, but he doesn't have spike possession. And now he's hurt.
And floating over the top is Vanity's hurt this. He spams and finds the kill, but Tig Shock dart right into the dark cover says, come out and play, and that will be good for LG's second round in a row.
Yeah, kind of a roller coaster ride of a round for Ban there. Definitely had a couple of missed daggers, but also had some good moments as well. The former Serenity member, not a guy that has a ton of experience playing at the higher tier events. I mean, he's definitely done well in some of the smaller, like Nerd Street monthly cups individually, though his teams never necessarily had any really big placements, in all honesty. So definitely kind of a more, I guess you could call like an obscure name. I don't mean any offense by it, but again, just not someone we're used to seeing around.
Right.
But coming in alongside Dazzle and Tig to kind of help fill out the LG roster for this qualifier, and good round there.
Oh, really good defensive paranoia. That'll stop a lot of the early aggression from Penny. Ban's gonna read the weapon, finds one, able to grab a second. Meanwhile, Dazzle, alongside an A, he's also able to double up. So it's just down to Vanity. He is the spike carrier, but this is a 1v4, and LG's defense has come alive.
Yeah, and finally, no retake this time. Just playing the site and defending strong, making that adjustment in philosophy on how they wanted to play this A site. And that's netted them a huge benefit, it seems. Vanity has heard that teleport, trying to go for the frag, does get it right into Dazzle. Another funny story, they were former teammates on E United in Counter-Strike. So, you know, a little bit of familiarity between those two guys as Vanity takes one for himself there. But, yeah, good round from LG, just great hold. Obviously, they were able to kind of reap the rewards of keeping so many rounds close despite losing, with getting so many kills and keeping the economy of V1, you know, pretty under control. It forced them into a lower buy coming into this round, and honestly, V1's probably looking at a save here. And so LG can maybe start getting a little bit of ground, as, yeah, indeed, it's going to be the Sheriffs and the Spectre coming in for V1.
That is an incredible effort from LG. 2 of those 3 rounds that they won were with really hampered economies. So the fact of the matter is, you come through with a slight economical disadvantage, take the first 2, now you turn the economy on its head by finding the third, and pretty convincingly at that. So really good effort here from LG, trying to get themselves back into this game. Stack in a bit of a snake line here for version 1 as they make their way through Garage. Peroto actually has a really good angle at this, and Dre gonna get activated, trying to spam through the cyber cage, able to find one. Not going to get a second. Those Vanity just snuck around behind him, but Proto on the site. Dazzle with the reinforcements. LG only dropping 1. It's just up the Thief for a 1v4.
Yeah, not much to be able to do. He does have the Sheriff. Maybe he can land a nice little headshot early. He can make magic happen, but to no avail, of course, as Dazzle picks it up, as V1, of course, didn't have much to work with there. Just trying to lay that smoke down a window, get in Garage, just try to burst out and see site. They kind of got found out thanks to Thief's utility. Your boy Dre able to kind of jump in off the back of a Proto's dart, get a frag, and, you know, alert his teammates to what was going on, basically, and they were able to hold it pretty convincingly. So now they have it at 4-6. Op now available for ban. This might be the first operator we've seen on the field all game long.
It is,
honestly.
Yeah. We'll see what he can do with it.
A little high-low play, but Smoke will block it.
Sees the angle, just a little peek. Damn shots from Dre. No damage to be confirmed or mentioned. So at least the threat has been established that version 1 will obviously recognize that, okay, sniper rifle on the table. Let's see what they do to counter.
Yeah, it's the old classic smoke top C and get yourself essentially a free orb, which is going to be big news for them. Tig using his owl drone to get some intel, as well as clear out a tripwire for a potential later flank that won't be as easy to read, as he is still playing this aggressive sewers angle, trying to just get the intel, maybe back off, does spot them, will indeed drop back into A site. Viper wall is down, and V1 are looking to pounce with the Hunter's Fury to help open up a lane on the short side. Yeah,
really like this from Effie's. This is going to not just be here to try to chase down the elimination or damage, but it'll also stop LG from rotating defensive members in. So the take is free. LG, plenty of tools here, though, to try to retake, including the Hunter's Fury, which Tig does connect on for 1. Damage on more than that. Vanity going to fall, and Proto's already in the site. He's found 1 elimination. Penny trying to hold on with Thief, and they've done well to find 3 in a row, but ban the quick scope twice in a row. Just down to 2 for V1. 2v2 situation. Snakebite will deny the defuse for now, and the reposition from Whippy to go over to short, while Effie's holds a tight corner, and Ban's not going to expect this whatsoever, but sticks this to halfway. Not going to find the 3rd elimination. Now 1v1. Tig has to come back to the play. It's down to, can you see Whippy? Sees him on the toss-up screen, but Whippy beats him to the punch, and V1 hold on for a 7-4.
Yeah, just a really explosive attack. Great use of Hunter's Fury. I just had to block that lower side, get them on site, get their all smoke coverage and vision blocking down to get the plant. And then Whippy just has such a crafty round, you know, using his snake bites, knowing he's no longer of value if he just stays long. Now his snake bites were already deployed to stall the defuse. He repositions sewers, able to push Ban off the defuse, then gets his frag, and then uses the toxic screen at just the right moment to cover himself in the 1v1 to buy even more time in the frag to finish it. Now 1 round left to go here.
But the disappearing man.
Oh yeah, that was big.
Operator still afforded, though. Early owl drone mid-map actually gets a tag, and Ban will updraft just to see what's going on. Penny with the knives. Could be some contact. And a forward trap wire here. First time we've seen this from LG.
Yeah, that is true. Making it a little bit harder for V1 to break through this door top being detected. Take, though, aggression. That sewers is going to be huge. He gets 2. And the intel on Effie's location. That's a big trade that favors LG. They still have neural theft available as well. That could definitely come into the equation as the rest of V1 still trying to poke and prod towards garage with Penny leading the way of the daggers. But, your boy Dre and Dazzle making a big push down mid.
But Penny gets the reset. Effie's watching the flank. We'll get the information that Dazzle's on the back. Paranoia gonna miss, and Vanity will turn that into 1. Nearly grabs a second, but will recognize the threat and say, let's just go for a play on to C.
Yeah, I mean, he knows the location of at least 1 player in this 2 versus 2, so knows it's pretty safe to come and plant this spike over towards C. They still have the daggers up. Vanity able to reposition with his ult here, get a little bit of intel, and now they can just try to hold the line. LG has a weakened player here.
Here comes the take through C-Long. Vanity, he's got his 3rd cover out at the exact wrong time, but Penny still responds. Now, anime battle. Knives on knives, Jet on Jet. Penny for the 1v1, and V1 exit the first half with an 8-4 tally.
Yeah, a little Naruto battle going on there with the daggers, I guess. I don't know. Those shuriken?
I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't watch it. I don't know.
Same. I just know chat loves when
Although I've been thinking about it, because apparently if you watch anime and you have it as a profile picture, you become instantly better at the video game from what I've found. So it might be one of those things I have to eventually pick up to.
An incredible first half, though. I mean, for version 1, you thought it was going to be a runaway, but I will say, you know, it's incredible for both sides. LG, really nice little bounce back. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite clean things up at the end, but really good signs of life from the defense from LG.
Weren't they down 6-0?
Still competitive. Yeah, they were down 6-0, yeah.
And had a little 4-round winning streak there. Finally got a retake work that had some good defenses as well, but now we pivot. V1 now on the defense. Not as strong as their attack, but still pretty capable on this map defensively.
Quick take coming through. Ban up top early. We'll recognize there's not a lot here. A lot of utility spent for this engagement as well. So version 1, who have not spent much, could use this as retake ability. And you're going to read that a lot of this action is close in quarters, and not able to lock down many shots as he dashes on in. Sig finds a second, but Thief keeps things relatively even with that. Whippy, though, falls, and LG, scrappy battle over the C site, come out on top.
Yeah, Scrappy definitely describes it well. There's kind of a bad smoke placement. There's kind of a crack towards that back hall that V1 was trying to exploit a little bit. I think they even tried to dash Penny in off the back of a, I think there was a Paranoia sent towards Watch or something like that, that he tried to dash in with, but just couldn't really land the marks. And eventually LG do clean it up. Now they'll be able to upgrade to the Spectres and Phantom. Save here from V1, so a chance for LG to keep working towards that tie. Again, a lot on the line here. Elimination and an open qualifier for Challengers 2 for the loser. Winner move making it the Challengers 1 and guarantee themselves the wrong for the whole ride. And, well, the only thing that Penny is going to be riding right now is the spectator area.
That's got to feel really good for Dre. It's like, I'm just going to ADS down here. Oh, hey, guy. Immediately as you get scoped in. So good first blood here from LG, and I'm really curious to see what Luminosity want to do with this man advantage. Also, of course, with a weapon advantage. And it looks like they're just going to take their time, make sure they do this cleanly, whatever it happens to be, turn into full stack and rotate over to A.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you just don't want to run into some type of trap or some type of gimmick. Just make sure you kind of stick together. Don't give yourself a chance to potentially lose a 1v1 to an upgraded pistol, which, of course, we know there isn't one of those on the field, but they don't. I'd say now let's start marching in. Smokes down on lower and on heaven to get into sight. Recon Bolt clearing out behind the sight boxes.
Now the take. See, Doctor coming through. Take just continuing to spam, and there's just not an elimination really to speak of outside of Vanity Shorty. Another clean take from Luminosity, only dropping 1. That puts him within 2, and now we really have to see what Version1 can put together here defensively with this full buy coming in.
Yeah, this is their chance to try to strike right on back here coming into Haven against a map that they won twice in Iceland against New Turn and Liquid. In both those games, they absolutely dominated, and included in that was a really big defensive side against New Turn. And again, they've always been really strong on Haven. They'd definitely be able to pull out some 8-round or more defenses in some of their most recent games. Again, not as strong as their attacking side, but I think that's the story for everyone on Haven. It's just a very tough match defensively at times.
Early recon bolt close for LG to get on to B, and Pan is considering just planting this, or at least fading out the sound cue, and he may have been just successful doing that. Tig very quickly through Garage on the way over towards C. Defensively here is going to be Thief and a number of other V1 players on the way in. Thief finds the first. Penny also part of the crossfire, and Whippy getting involved as they collectively find one each. And Vanity also looking to get involved. Could be a Team A situation here, as around the corner, Effie's will be able to find theirs, and there it is. Team A's coming through. Sharing is caring for V1.
There you go. Why not? Why the heck not? A little Team Ace that will certainly get the juices flowing on your first buy up against the bonus of your opposition. So I guess here, suppose, comes the real test. Again, Thief on the Cypher, certainly a new sight to behold. It's not his first time, by the way. He's had several games on the Agent in the past. It's just been such a long time because he's been cycling through the Duelist for ages for Luminosity. And you have to go back a pretty long ways to find, you know, him on a Cypher in an official capacity. I mean, you'd have to go back to like maybe mid-2020.
It's just one of those things when you think of Thief. I mean, take away the guys of whichever agent he's playing, it's just individually, you know, he's good for at least one, if not two, by himself. Like, so him on a Sentinel, I think if you were just to take away what he was playing before, the fact that he's very good in 1v multiple situations, it kind of does make sense. And
look at this, by the way.
Tools back and forth, all drones will pass each other, and LG are going to be in a really weird spot trying to execute on this defensive E1.
Yeah, there's such a big defensive place on this A side. The Paranoia is going to take Van down with the help of Vanity and Penny's rifles. Dazzle on your boy Dre, though, fighting it back, but Effie's getting into the under heaven position, evens it back up, takes the advantage for V1.
Scouts out Proto, but can't confirm the kill. 2v2 situation. Quickly up top goes Thief. Waiting for just a moment is Whippy. And the spam shot, just taking the time to ping out where exactly that default would be. And the snakebite would have been there for good measure, so things fall on to Proto, who has collected the spike, wants to plant this right under the corner, and is successful. So now 1v2. Wants to check out the angle, finds one. Gets information on Whippy, and the shoulder peek. Will he punish? Proto for 3, and LG clutch up to get within 2.
Big victory for LG. They looked well behind throughout the bulk of that round. I mean, they lost the kind of trading battle on A, mostly thanks to Effie's being able to slip under heaven and get that 3-on-2 advantage. Then Thief stops this, puts them into a winnable 2v1. But just the timing of how Whippy and Company are looking to kind of come in their lower side together to, you know, have good spacing to be able to guarantee a trade. And it just so happens that a Proto finds like the perfect little timing before they actually make their way in to kind of single out some 1v1s and win them both. Again, something he is very well known for as that Cypher player.
So now an opportunity for Luminosity to completely cripple the economy of Version1 with a win here. We could be looking at a tie game out of nowhere. Proto spy cam passively over through A lobby. Almost maybe a bit of an adjustment off the chess game, as we've seen Version1 get pretty aggressive through this A side of the map a couple of different times already.
It's one of those maps that really benefits from just kind of gathering one side and attacking, because you're either going to find an empty site and get to play a post plant, or, again, you're going to find very likely a spread out defense if they're trying to play like just kind of standard and spread, and, you know, the rotations from the opposite side are going to take a while, and just kind of try to maximize the construction of the map. As we do see them getting some sewers control. Yeah.
Has no paranoia here for Vanity. So he's going to need help. That's the big key, is where I was going to point out. And Effie's just going to rotate in to try to assist him. I think they've read this pretty nicely.
Yeah, the thing is, though, there's still one garage, one C, and Penny is just now rotating over to A side from B, so timing could be a little tough.
But Vanity's still able to find one. That's not bad at all. Hunter's Fury the way in. Penny making sure there is no cross. That's also the spike that's been down. Drake will find one in return. 4v3 situation. Penny watching players come to the toxic screen, but Eliminations favor LG to tie things up to a 2v2. Thief up top. Shock Dart trying to push them off. He sees the head of one. Also saw the shoulder of a second, but Tig will also shrug him back with a Shock Dart of his own. 1v2 for Tig. Has to stick for a plan as the time is low. Gets this down. Tries to get the gun up, but Effie's just a little bit too quick around the corner, and V1's retake comes through successfully.
Yeah, not losing that 2 versus 1. Maybe he would have dropped it in the previous round. This time they come together perfectly, coming around that box out, making it impossible for Tig to get the 1v1s he needed without being shot in the back. Definitely a situation where I thought V1 might be in some trouble when Vanity traded 1 for 1, but that Hunter's Fury came in huge from Effie's to create a lot more stress on LG, allow V1 to start making some rotations. Again, Thief comes up nicely from heaven to really help things along. He's definitely been like a super sub. I mean, top fragging for the team, playing an agent he hasn't played in ages. I mean, he has definitely had value here, as we are going to see LG coming into this with just mostly Sheriffs. So a tough spot for sure.
Eddie's actually going to commit the blades here for this round.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, hands out. Finds the first kill into Dazzle. Vanity still holding a corner. This could be interesting, too, if they have read that there are more players mid-grass.
I wonder if they checked that corner. I mean, they're so preoccupied with Penny. Yeah, Vanity able to use that to kind of just step out. Now he can teleport back to safety. Or did he fake the teleport? Sticks around, but gets caught.
I know exactly.
Opportunity here for LG. They're going to collect the Spectre. Also finding some beautiful shots from Dre to take down Penny, who was just, to be honest, off the Ghost as the blades were completely expended.
Ooh.
But off the Neural Theft, LG say, let's go ahead and rotate, see if we can get an action over towards C.
Yeah, it's wild that your boy Dre gets that pick right before the smoke blooms. And I don't know if Vanity faked the teleport or if he just got caught on like a hitbox or something and didn't actually make the teleport. So him going down certainly hurts things. Allows LG now a chance, right? They might have picked up a fallen weapon. They're in a 3-on-3. They still have Hunter's Fury for post plan. They can keep Tig safe and long. So they definitely have some options. The only problem is your boy Dre is kind of stranded, and he has to make a big play, either flank at the right time or somehow get back to his teammates.
Oh, the Toxic String comes up. Dre trying to push through this, but Effie's was waiting the entire time. So now a 2v3. Luminosity will get the plant off at C, so there's an opportunity to try to lock down a post plant, but Effie's is going to have point of contact here with Tig. Not going to miss that shot. So it's just down to Proto. It looks like he actually wants to challenge the same angle, but the recon dart will make him reconsider. And as he does, he finds himself a one-tap on the Whippy, but the follow-up immediately there for Thief in version 1 will win another round.
Yeah, big round from Effie's, being able to pick up on your boy Dre, also getting that other kill towards back calls to kind of close down the round. Definitely a couple of moments that, you started to get a little bit concerned, but they were able to handle it just fine. And so they are, edging closer and closer towards the finish line, at least for this map.
Exactly where you are.
You call that bait and switch really nicely. You thought for a moment, and there had to have been some weird interaction there, like you mentioned with the teleport, but I really do like that setup for V1 overall. I mean, you get some damage confirmed. You have Vanity there to peek just to make sure they can confirm an extra shot, an extra bit of damage. But Dre's opening pick to kind of respond, you thought for a moment was going to be enough to bring that one back. So now an opportunity where LG, this is a must-win round for them, you feel. You lose this one, obviously you're down 7-12, and your economy is going to be in shambles. And Tig is going to go with a very early Hunter's Fury over towards A. Not really going to connect with much. Penny sees the information that, yeah, there are still members lurking by A lobby, but with that shot going errant, it looks like the focus will go back over towards C.
Does seem to be the case. Thief is still here, triggering those cages to try to buy some time, create a little bit of sanctuary behind the sight box. He avoids that paranoia. Might find a frag here, but no, your boy Dre able to get it instead, and now pops the Empress. Proto also pitching in for one. Now they have the 5-on-3 and a plant guaranteed.
They stick it. Snakebite was just a bit offline. The shock dart also not going to fully connect, as Dazzle will be able to stay alive, if not just barely. Luminosity 5v3 situation, version 1. Really need to make a decision here. How much do you really want to try to go for this? You've missed the opportunity to deny the plant. Beyond that, you haven't gotten a kill yet. And a good spy cam placement as well from Proto will make life very difficult on this retake. Paranoia will come out, but Vanity and the rest of the V1 boys will just back away.
Yeah, they know that this one is pretty much all she wrote, but they know that they still have a decent lead in saving these 3 weapons. Could still keep them right in contention. I mean, Vanity still has that ult that he's going to be able to have in play. I believe Neural Theft is also available coming into the next round. So they certainly still have a lot of breathing room. So suffocation could be coming soon. You know, you allow LG to get to 10 round mark or so, and all of a sudden that space you thought you had is quickly closing in. So this could be a really big moment. You know, this is a round that I feel like V1 needs. They're going to get the operator in Penny's hands. I think this might be the first time he's hit an op.
Yes.
So, you know, that could be the difference maker, you know, depending if he can find an early pick or not, as he looks like they're going to use him to kind of anchor C out. Just playing on top of the slight box is a pretty safe angle to play. They're going to reinforce that A defense, right? Had 3 players to begin.
Aggression coming through, but the Lear will actually allow Luminosity to push through. Dazzle's going to make it from the shadows. Up top, Vanity sees information. Paranoia will come out very early. The thing is, do they recognize that Dazzle's still up top here? Well, now they should. Paranoia comes out, but it's not going to make a difference. Dazzle finds the first, comes down over towards Hell, sees more off the recon bolt, able to find elimination, but Thief for 2. We talked about how good he is in 1v multiple situations. He finds 3, but Dazzle responds in kind. 2v2 situation. And a massive round when it comes to the implications of what could happen with this series. And we're going to have to wait for Whippy to rotate.
Yeah, smart here by Penny just to wait it out for Whippy so they can try to retake this together. Going to be tough with just an operator here in Penny's hands. He's got no daggers. I don't know if he has access to a rifle, so they have to kind of just work in together.
Oh, but Whippy checks the left, finds the free kill on the Dazzle. Now down to Proto. Here's Penny in the sight. Comes to the toxic screen and actually catches Whippy in the timing, but Penny too far forward. Version 1 secures things, tally up the operator, get the defuse, and put yourself on match point.
So well done to just have, you know, a great clearance of that close left corner. And then they also got a tag through the Viper wall. And that really helped things along because Penny, in the meanwhile, was able to find a Phantom, the appropriate weapon swap for the situation, able to come in and trade, gets his operator back, and now they put themselves on map point here. Dazzle definitely made a big play with that ult. I'm surprised V1 didn't pick up on it sooner. But Thief's kills, I feel, were so pivotal. Those 3 kills is what gave his team even a chance at this 2-on-2 clutch. And then they were able to pull it off.
And it's also the fact that Whippy's the first one forward to retake, and it's a 50-50 check and predicts the correct corner. That's the other incredible moment of that as well. He looks right instead of left. Different situation. And LG could be on 9, and Version 1 would be on the safe. But Luminosity still firepower to play with here, but how about this switch up? Vanity with the Judge holding close C Cubby.
Yeah, a little bait and switch again with the operator. And here's my question. Do they even know Penny has an op? Will they have even seen it? That's kind of something I'm kind of curious about. They got killed by a Phantom by him in the previous round. Vanity is going to get spotted, though. That's the only kind of issue here. But Dazzle gets hit enough that he doesn't want to chase. Decides to back off, and so Vanity will be able to find safety here in the C site.
Forces out the paranoia, so I think overall, considering that you're running a lurking roll early for Dazzle, that's actually really worth it. You take 8 points worth of health and damage, but you force out a big flash. And now maybe LG say, oh, if you don't have the paranoia anymore, maybe we try to go over towards C. But the thing is, like you mentioned, I don't know if they know Penny's got the op.
I mean, you got to know it's possible, right, with the success that they've been having. But yeah, they just step out. Penny gets a freebie, able to back off, reposition at logs. They're still going to keep trying to push in, trying to use the Hunter's Fury to help clear a path. But oh no, the dash goes awry for Van. They don't actually get any space here. And now Vanity's back with the Judge, but he gets caught by Proto's flank.
And he finds the second with the other way forward, able to assist Whippy for 2. Oh no, it's all gone wrong, just down to Tig. Good first elimination, but you feel like we'll eventually be overwhelmed, and that will be the case. Version 1 come through a tight map 1, but they still find a way to secure it. 13-8. Step away for a break. We'll come back to break it down. Set up map number 2 right after this.
Your purchase could be free when you use your Credit Karma Visa debit card. Free groceries, free gas, or even a free TV. It's called Instant Karma, and you can only win it from Credit Karma Money. Open your account for free in the Credit Karma app. Credit Karma Money. Progress starts here.
Change of range. the money in the bank. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank.
Everybody, welcome back to the Open Qualifiers #1, Version 1, enjoying a one-map lead over Luminosity, 13-8 the tally. Before we get into the breakdown, of course, big shout-outs to our promotional sponsors. This time, of course, Zowie, who has been one of the main go-tos for anything FPS monitors. That much is for sure. And why? Because truly, they are designed for the FPS community. Instead of trying to be a game monitor for everyone, Zowie knows what they're on and focuses on what matters for FPS performance, including reliability, speed, clarity, and comfort, which is very important to be sure. So with the exclusive technologies like dynamic accuracy and color vibrance, Zowie monitors make it easier than ever to track your enemies, control your weapon sprays, and secure sight for the squad. Check out zowie.banq.com for more information. Or if you'd like to learn about more about how the dynamic accuracy can affect your gameplay and exactly what it is, just search "What is Diac" to skip right to the good stuff. But good stuff has been kind of plaguing us throughout all the casts we've had so far this weekend. Map 1, no exception between V1 and Luminosity. A great start for Version 1. Luminosity bounced back, but in the end, Version 1 just a little bit too much to handle.
Yeah, I mean, they started off this game with the same potent attack they've been having on Haven for quite some time. Definitely one of the top maps in their pool. They're very good at playing that assertive type of style, but also being able to throw in feints and pacing changes when need be. Thief coming in as a sub, picking up the Cypher as V1 has been trying to move more towards like a solo duelist setup on this map. Was able to fill in those shoes just fine. Again, not an agent that he's played a whole heck of a lot. Definitely hasn't played it in a very long time. But came in, top frag for the team. Obviously, great games from Effys and Penny. Two guys continuing their good form from Iceland and in the previous stage. And while defensively they had a couple of, snags here and there, they never really lost control of the game. They were always out in front. They always seemed comfortable. I don't think they ever let the game really get closer than like a 3-round spread when it came to the second half. So definitely just good performance from V1 through and through. And, LG, obviously, bringing this team together, having a stand-in, having 2 new players on top of the stand-in. I thought they had a pretty decent showing considering the situation they're in.
I think the big thing, just to kind of capitalize on Version 1 and their efficiency was the fact that outside of the round 2 or half 2 pistol, they were only down in economy once. So, I mean, for Luminosity, they were kind of fighting off the back foot nearly the entire time, like you mentioned. So, yeah, that's something that we're looking forward to change, especially the fact that we consider that this is Luminosity's map pick coming up, but it's on Split, which, if you are familiar with watching Version 1, at one point in time, this was by far one of their best maps. So, trouble definitely still brewing here in the second map for Luminosity.
Yeah, I mean, they had a couple of really close losses to New Turn and Team Liquid in Iceland on this map, but both those games went to at least a single overtime. The double overtime in the case of Team Liquid. But in the North American region, prior to going to Iceland, they were on a 4-game winning streak, beating Envy, Ambox, Energy, and Cloud9. Definitely seemingly playing pretty well from both sides of the map. And generally speaking, it's been a map that they have, over 70% win rate on. They're pretty strong on both sides of the map. Like, most teams are better defensively on Split, and they're near 60% on that. But also their attack has also been pretty good, like around 53% win rate on the attacking side. Had some pretty decent attacking sides in the first halves of both the New Turn and the Liquid matches over in Iceland. Definitely a big reason why they would have beat teams like Envy and Ambox throughout the last stage. So definitely, very capable of playing it. I am curious to see what type of composition they'll come in with. They were obviously running a lot of Astra going into Iceland and at the main event in Iceland, but earlier on this qualifier, they did switch back to Vanity playing the Omen. This is also one of the maps where they seemingly have either played a double duelist composition, or sometimes they will put the Killjoy in play. So I'm not sure which we're going to see here. I think this is the perfect time to probably go ahead and let Thief play that Reyna, while you go ahead and get the Raze in play, perhaps for, you know, Penny, for example. That is something that they did do earlier on in this open qualifier. And so other than that, though, I think the only other change you're going to see is obviously Effie's going to Sage because he's not playing Sova on a map like Split. Other than that, though, I think that everything else will probably go according to plan. And then for the LG side, just think about agents that you just saw on Haven, and I'm sure you're going to see something pretty similar. Maybe a couple of pivots here and there, with obviously Sova not being on the table for Split. But other than that, I don't expect anything too crazy from them either.
This is, I think, the map that for Luminosity, I'm really looking to see, okay, what was the mindset for what this roster currently is? Because I think you're right. You're going to see a handful of role swaps from what we just came off of Haven. But I think if this is your map pick, this has to be your strongest showcase of what this roster can provide for us. And we talked so much about how Luminosity continue to kind of have an identity struggle when it comes down to who they are and who is actually going to be on the roster. It feels like every single stage, they lose a key component and are kind of playing catch up to make sure they're actually in good form. So I don't mean to put a lot of pressure on it, but I'm looking at players like Ban, like Pig, that are new to the mix here, see what they can provide and why exactly Luminosity believe this roster will be potentially what could get them not just through the opens, but hopefully through one of those challengers main events. We'll come to find out is not just on what's going to happen here at the map, but specifically to this conversation, what the agents are going to look like. We'll step away for a brief pause. We'll come back in Agent Select with our teams for Split right after this.
Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, got. Down, up, back, up, got.
Welcome back, everybody. We're jumping on into Agent Select for map number 2. It's split, and Version 1 currently enjoying a 1-0 up lead, and already some pretty stark differences as far as what both the teams want to bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, for Version 1, it's exactly the same comp they used earlier on this open qualifier on Split, and kind of just, again, they cycle between running double Duelist or having a Sentinel. They cycle between Vanity playing the Asher or playing the Omen. Other than this, though, it's basically what I expected and what they've done a lot in the past, so no surprise for V1. On the opposing side, obviously when you're not playing Sova, it does open up some options to bring in maybe a Sage or maybe some type of Initiator. Well, LG just went ahead and did both. They got your boy Drake coming in to play the Sage, and then they got Tig going over to the Breach. So, yeah, there you have it. I mean, this is essentially a very similar comp to what they ran. I think it's the same comp they ran against Complexity earlier in the bracket, actually. So nothing too shocking kind of in that regard. And when you think of a player like Tig, he has played a couple of games of Breach in the past. Definitely a very heavy Sova player. Also played a lot of Killjoy at times, but has played some Breach here and there. So he'll be familiar with the agent.
And that matchup versus Complexity, in case you missed it, did go all the way to a double overtime.
Yes.
So that's something to keep in the back of my mind. Luminosity, very quick to take over towards B, though, and they do it cleanly. Most of it conceded as Vanity has to back away. Wants to try to throw some consideration for a post-plant contest, but is largely going to have to wait for help.
Yeah, it is just the retake here from P1, as they did kind of give up the B site, and of course that Sage Wall so powerful to helping that B cross, and now Tig catching the first player trying to rotate through Heaven here. Your boy Dre, though, getting caught, maybe creating an opening for V1.
Paranoia comes right down Main Street. Vanity able to find one. Cyber Cage is providing a big kind of smoke screen wall, though, and here comes the play forward, and everyone on Luminosity caught on reload, it seems like. I mean, after the initial kind of lurking and slowly descending dark cover was going over towards Heaven, you thought that maybe LG has had a beat on this play, but apparently not.
I think it's your boy Dre getting caught, I think, was kind of the catalyst for that, you know? It really is kind of what allowed the retake to come through. I think I was kind of surprised your boy Dre stayed on top for a while. I would have thought he just dropped down and play out the 5-on-4 with the teammates behind it a Sanctuary. Of course, it was eventually going to break, and maybe you don't want to feel pigeonholed stuck on the site. But you also could have played towards B lobby. You know, I don't know if they had the spike planted for that, but, you know, that could have been an option, I suppose. But either way, really solid retake from V1.
Opening wall mid-map, Luminosity trying to delete it, and will commit to making sure they open up one segment. That will keep V1 at least somewhat considered to the middle of the map earlier on than they may have liked initially off the play.
Yeah. Pretty big investment from LG here, getting that spike plant while they lost the round. They're not waiting for a full buy in the next. They're looking to try to strike here and now. And obviously with the wall breaking like that and all those bullets being heard, V1 will now know that. They now know that they're up against some type of, you know, half buy or maybe even just a straight up full commit, as they did hear a Spectre rattling off in middle. So they're going to go for A, which Whippy is anchoring, but his support system is a little off still. And actually he's just having to play all the way back at screens, but he's now starting to get a little bit of a rotation from Penny.
Yeah, the big key is the fact that Penny is going to be able to assist on this so quickly.
Looks like Effie's is on the way as well already.
Yep. Full call coming out, fault line to the mix. Penny trying to stay alive, but affected and concussed means that Dre finds elimination. Effie's up top trying to take his place. Aftershock was thrown forward, but nobody expects Effie's to also be up top. Finds two. And uh-oh, things looking dangerous once again for Luminosity. 4v3 situation. Whippy already on the site. I think just caught information up top, but more importantly, finds Proto on the low ground.
Oh, wow.
Vanity in the back is making sure there is no rotation out, although the
Vanity?
shots are less than good. And Tig has actually opened up some space to collect the spike and run over to B. It just comes down to will he have time to plant? He should. Dazzle working behind the plate. Also finds another.
No
so Luminosity
way.
have pulled this back to a 2v2, and they'll have a post plant.
Oh my goodness. How has LG somehow found a post plant 2 versus 2 on B site like this? And now Dazzle in the perfect spot to cut off this rotation through Heaven, perhaps.
Enemy remaining.
Oh my goodness.
No way.
Just when he thought it all was going wrong for LG.
Shift. Don't tell me V1 are going to lose this round after that. Don't you dare.
I won't say a word.
Don't say it.
But
yeah, that's the best.
my mind is thinking some things, and my
Yeah,
voice will
that's
stay
fine.
tepid for now.
I appreciate it.
50 up top, caught out, no chance. Unbelievable. What in the heavens was that?
Speaking of Heavens, I mean, V1 were starting things off perfectly up there. While Penny did get, thwarted, they did a perfect bait and switch for Effie's in that corner. as the backhaul distraction happens. Effie strikes with 2 Spectre blows, and it's looking like things are going well, because even after Effie does this, thanks to that paranoia, you even have the back of the site being covered. Can we get a slow-mo of that again? But basically, Whippy gets a big kill from the back of the site on top of Effie's double, and you're thinking, all right, this round's over with. And then somehow, some way, let's be real, off the back of a less than stellar spray from Vanity, somehow a door cracks back open for LG, and they take advantage of it.
That's the only route they had, was to
Yeah,
exit.
no.
There was no play on to A.
And he did the right thing by backing up and covering
Yeah,
it. It's just
agreed.
he just missed. So it's not like a mental mistake or a tactical problem. It's just unfortunately, it's one of those situations where your spray missing actually opened the door for your opponent in a big, big way. But it happens, you know?
It does.
Everyone's been there. Everyone's had a yikes moment like that.
Well, see if he can recover. Shorty in hand, about to have a look at a number of players, and he's actually been beaten punch. Dazzle finds an elbow. Tig also following up with Thief, who was trying to watch over the top through A tower, or probably B tower. And for Vanity and, well, Thief, it's just down to, can your teammates actually clutch this up, and it's going to be a retake largely from up top at B tower again.
And a Proto has this late flank option as well through middle from that ramen position. So depending on if he was able to stay in or not, he can pretty much put this thing away. He can be the checkmate move, though Whippy is keeping an eye out for it. But as he keeps an eye out for this, it's wasting time on actually being able to retake the site.
Beautiful patient shots from Dre. Oh my goodness. YBD with the 3K, all of it headshots. It just beautiful display of gunsmanship right there. LG turned that into a second straight round, but for version 1, of course, they were forced to be on essentially a save. So round 4 will be our more characteristic round that we see in the third.
Yeah, unfortunately, that kind of mishap on the A side a couple of rounds ago cost them 2 because of the economic situation it also created. But now they're back to full buys, and now they can get back to, playing their confident defense. Again, this is a map that they have over 70% win rate on the map itself, and then defensively they're near 60% successful. So certainly going to feel pretty good coming into this against a team that, again, is very new together as a unit. Lots of roster changes for Luminosity coming into this. Not sure how comfy they'll be together.
Paranoia going up to B tower. Nobody could follow up after that, so it's just to slow down the inevitable hit. Wood Dazzle up top with Ban, who Ban just tries to go to the high ground, caught in the mix. Rolling Thunder out, but Dazzle also falls. Effie's affected. That'll be now, 5 straight kills for Dre between the 2 rounds. And we've got another 2v2 situation. Penny with the shells are going to be able to clear out some space, but Tig, I don't think has been seen underneath here since he pulled the Rolling Thunder out.
No, but he does have the spike, so he's going to have to eventually give up that position, get in there and get that spike down, and indeed he will. Now they know that Under Heaven is clear. Cam misses the dart. Snakebite going to come in on the spike to push the player off there. So V1's did a great job kind of limiting what angles they have to check as they come in with their utility usage.
But he just walking in from the backside, finds one Whippy from the high ground, gets the second. So version 1 recover, but another round that was starting to be pieced together pretty nicely from Luminosity. I mean, the Rolling Thunder found a lot of clearance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really outside of the kind of over-aggressive mantle up top from Ban, it was a pretty well put together execute.
It was. I mean, that Rolling Thunder is essentially what allows your boy Dre to get the entries to get them sight in the first place. But again, I have to really credit V1's utility usage on that retake. I mean, they used the Snakebite to make sure no one's playing default. They used the Boombot to clear underneath Heaven. They're essentially making sure that all they really have to worry about at that point is double stack up close, B lobby in the back of the side itself. They're eliminating a lot of options, and then when a Proto's dart misses, that gives them even more time now because they don't have to wait that out. They can just start going and build off their utility, and they shaped it together really nicely to tie things up.
A lot of early Viper utility coming down just to deny any push through over towards A long, which will mean for Luminosity this is a risky check, but they will still commit to it. Protoss also got a camera down to try to assist in this effort. Second Snakebite also comes through, so when it comes to post-plant contest, that's not a lot that version 1 is going to have that they normally do.
Yeah, that's a fair point to make, but it has stalled this A take, and now they can kind of set up a bit of a crossfire here up top. Ban running right into it head first with the dash. Oh, Dazzle gets caught trying to teleport, and everything's going wrong now for LG. Your boy Dre does get one back, sure, but they're still in a 2v4. They have not gotten inside this spike yet.
Oh, it's so tough. The execute, you see exactly what the idea was for Luminosity, but off of the flash and dash, it just gets a little spun around, doesn't it? Band is not really sure what to shoot
Or like
at.
a flash and face plant.
That's fair. Trey coming up. Ramp's going to find himself in the midst of a double stack. It's all down to Proto. 1v4. Does have the spike, so an opportunity to secure a little bit of extra coin, but is there really an opportunity to clutch this? You would think probably not. Effies will reveal their position, but turning his attention over towards main. Thief will beat up, and V1 right back into their winning ways as they go back up 3-2.
Yeah, that was a pretty big win. Only losing one player along the way. Again, it's just having that double ramp defense based on Viper's utility, basically setting up a crossfire. When Ban dashes forward, he's thinking, all I got to worry about is chasing after this flash on the right-hand side and getting that control over towards Heaven, not really realizing the crossfire that had been established, and just gets banged out. And that pretty much seals the deal. Again, Dazzle also getting caught mid-teleport. Big strike there as well in favor of V1. And so after that, kind of a mishap a couple of rounds ago, they're recovering nicely. They've let that slide. Whippy's Viper pitting middle. They're really control this mail area. So making it tough on LG to find space here out in middle.
Decent attempt from Ban. Saw him just kind of trying to dash through, see if he could catch somebody mid-mail, but Viper's Pit blooms a bit faster than he can make the play. So now reconsideration for Luminosity. What exactly do you want to do here on the offense now that you don't have a route through mid?
Yeah, I mean, controlling mid is big, right? It gives you access to ropes to try to pinch A Heaven. It gives you a way to B split. It gives you so much map control as an attacking team. Now you kind of have to just funnel through ramps or through B lobby. And it also allows now V1 not only to cut your options off, but have way faster and safer rotations through middle. Once they start feeling the pressure on a site, they can, really start working to work together. And Vanity is going to come down to the timing of this paranoia.
Oh my gosh, it's perfect. But he's not going to try to cheat the angle. He's going to try to back away. Gets flashed by Tig. Alt line also coming through. Whippy on the rotation, able to find one, but Ban and Tig combine to exchange things in favor of Luminosity, and Dazzle finds Thief. And Proto mid-map, he's right behind. He hears all of this. So outside of being able to deny the plant, there's really not going to be much hope here for version 1. And Penny on the low ground is going to be caught between a rock, a hard place, and a harder place. Proto on the flank secures the final two, and Luminosity, another brilliant execute.
Oh, yeah, that was really well done. I mean, forcing Vanity into a tough spot. Yeah, he's able to paranoia to try to stall a bit, and he's able to teleport away, but he gets hit by the fault line immediately. I think the other big thing that happened there is Thief unable to capitalize on his leer. He had a couple of players blinded, but he winds up getting caught anyway with no frags to his name. And at that point, the floodgates are open. The last line of defense was well and truly thwarted, and ensured LG would have the site, and then a Protoss just kind of that insurance policy, coming in behind. So at every point in that round, LG had an answer for V1, and they convert, I think, their most confident round victory all game long so far.
A lot of opening utility being spent here from the side of Luminosity, but it's all denied just off the fact that it's essentially just a bait and switch. I mean, at this point, it's just a kind of a big old fake. All that being thrown out just to see if maybe they can heavy-handedly rotate version 1 to B, and I guess technically speaking, they're successful in that as you've got 3 members in and around the B site.
It'll be interesting to see. They're going to be able to get control of mailroom, no problem. They're also going to be able to get into ropes now as well with Dazzle here pretty soon and kind of have that option open to them. Whippy's just kind of checking from the rope position, but going to back off as soon as he sees something, just kind of be in that early alert system. Actually tries to hang around for a frag, and that's his demise. Ban gets a double, and that's going to give them a quick 5-on-3 open B-bomb site. Vanity able to fit one in before he's smoked off, so that gives them a little bit more of a chance in this retake, but still going to be a tall hill to climb being a player down.
And even more now, Neural Theft will scout things out. So the wall blocks off everything at B tower. Protoss is going to wait for this to either be destroyed or dissolved, and Penny will try to have to clear this. It's going to be a 1v2 situation for Penny. Gets the information on the first, but Proto recorrects the shots, finds the kill. Paranoia also spent down for version 1, but it looks like they will decide no chance for us to go for the reticks. We'll back away, maybe play for an exit, or more particularly just save.
Yeah, now you're getting some big wins from LG. I mean, their first couple of wins were based off of a mistake from V1, and then they capitalized on the following eco. But now these last couple of rounds, they have been the ones actively, taking agency and winning the rounds based off their own abilities. And V1's trying, but they're just getting caught. That round, Whippy gets busted trying to play the ropes, and Ban gets a big double. He had kind of a slow game in the previous map, to be quite honest, and he's coming into this one having some pretty big impact in that round, at least. And, they're starting to be able to build things. They're starting to be able to get rolling, and they're playing that, similar aggressive style to V1. They're just kind of bunching up and looking to take control, and they're starting to net some benefits from it.
You know, the thing is, in kind of rethinking back to Iceland, which for Version 1 fans, they're not going to be happy that I'm bringing this up, but there were a handful of rounds before the end of regulation, and more particularly after regulation, that they lost defensively that they should have won. And we've already said that now, what, 2 different times at least through the 4 rounds that Luminosity have taken away. So
Right.
some definitely polish that needs to still be considered. Granted, of course, no Zelsis, so, you know, take from that what you will, but it's so the simple fact that for Version 1, there have been some really sloppy either initial holds or particularly retakes that have come through that have really hurt them.
Oh, this is going to be a crazy scrap, it feels like, over towards Mail, and it's equal so far. And it looks like V1's going to hold firm off the back of it. Effie's and Penny, big frags to get themselves a 4-on-2. They're going to be able to get a res if they want as well. Wall goes down to slow the mid attack.
Tig's going to try to commit through this. Penny finds 1. Penny finds 2. 3 in total for the round. And I'm not going to lie. Initially, I mean, LG, you get the opening pick. I'm just surprised when the toxic screen comes out, you say, let's back up and use that as a barrier just to say, okay, reset.
Nah, it's gonna be a slugfest, bro. Both teams are deciding, nope, we're holding our ground here. We're taking this battle, and you don't see it too often play out like this, where it's just 3 versus 3 in mailroom, basically. Such a small
in the first
space
30
for so many
seconds of
people.
the round.
Yeah, not a very characteristic situation, but you know, V1 decided to die on that hill, and instead of perishing, they come out victorious, tie the game right back up. Wall off middle to kick things off here. It looks like LG want to try to go for something quick at B, but that slow orb is going to stall that plan, at least for now. Looks like they're trying to throw a bit of a feint towards A ramp simultaneously. Unless they're going to double this spike back. Not really sure. They're leaving their options open, but no mid control.
Thief up top is actually already pinged that there could be someone hiding in this corner. Or now they know for sure, so. Okay. You've got Thief with this play alongside Vanity, or is he? Ban has had a great last 3 rounds.
Yeah, speaking of Ban, he definitely hammered Vanity there. Big entry.
Hammer
Yeah.
play.
Was pretty obvious shift, you know, but if you ask, you kind of ruin it.
He just didn't come in with much confidence as I normally would expect.
I was trying to
Good
be
shots
subtle.
up top. 1-for-1 exchange. 3v3 situation. 38 seconds on the clock. Proto up top actually could find another point of contact, and Will finds the first. Did not quite see the ponytail of Effie's, but obviously with all this utility being deleted, he's going to know that he's
Effie's just like, listen here, buddy. You're not getting your stuff down. Now you get the frag, but now Tig going to go with the Rolling Thunder, going to secure a heaven for himself, allows that spike to maybe, you know, be more safe here as it's still under the control of your boy Dre is keeping an eye on things. We take 2v2 here.
Oh, what? No way. But now Dre, an opportunity, knows where the play is coming from. Whippy turns it into a second. What in the world was that spam to main?
That won the round. It turned it into a
Absolutely.
very dangerous 2-on-2 into a 2-on-1 that they felt very confident in. Holy moly. How in the... I need to see it again in slow motion.
One enemy
Later, dude. Goodbye. Literally first 2 bullets. And, I thought we were going to get it again. Oh, well.
Good grief.
That is... I mean, if you're Tig there, what are you thinking? Like, you just used your Rolling Thunder, you got A heaven control, you set up your team for success in the 2-on-2 post plant, and then you just get beamed. Like, immediately.
I don't know. I uninstall if that happens to me. I'm telling you right now.
That is definitely a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And he did nothing wrong.
Nothing at all. I mean, the fact is, like you mentioned, the Rolling Thunder clears A top. He doesn't actually play for it, thinking that Version 1 has to clear this. So I'll play an off angle, but unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, talk about a game, or round-winning shot, rather, I should say. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but does get them back up on top. They have 2 ults in play coming into this round, but so does LG. As LG are looking to maybe go for that 4-1 split at B, let our Proto be that late lurk mid. Definitely want to try to wall themselves into the site, it seems, with Van being the point of the spear. Whippy will be in the site, though, defending, but his support system's not quite there just yet.
Oh, man, they're on the corner. trying to find some clearance. Whippy, Effie's both falling. Penny quickly trying to recover. Sends out the showstopper. Finds a kill plus some extra damage. Paint shells over the top of the wall. That might also connect. Pig going to take a little bit of damage from that. Actually, more than a little bit of damage. Down to half HP. And version 1 have successfully stopped this spike plant.
And they've done a lot of damage in this 3 versus 3 to 2 of the remaining members here of LG. Dazzle trying to maybe fake a teleport out of this backside site, trying to make them doubt whether he's still there or not. But they still can't get this spike down. I mean, everyone for V1's ready to go. They're already here.
Gonna commit to it is Tig. Can he get away? Dark cover is gonna come through. Fault line as well. Again, actually connects on the Vanity, but Thief and the Empress up top able to find one. Now quickly, moving to the low ground. Around the corner is Frodo. Spy Cam will see this, but will it make much of a difference? I don't believe it will. Everyone knows where Dazzle is. And V1, what a contest throughout the B site that was, and a 3v3 turns into a 3v0 at the end.
Yeah, it was a tough one. You know, they certainly had to work at that one. I mean, LG were starting to do some big things. They were able to get Whippy down and slide. They caught that first rotator through heaven. I believe that was Effie's. So it's starting to feel a lot like some of their other B hits have, where they're able to kind of storm it and get a pretty nice main advantage for the post plant. But that time around, their plant got disturbed. Penny makes a big play. A rifle frag and the showstopper puts his team in not only a 3v3, but one where the spike never got down and where LG were getting just whittled away before they ever really took any fights. Just made it so easy with those softened targets on the field for V1 to capitalize. And so that's now 3 in a row for them. They've won 5 of the last 7, so they're starting to get control back of this half with only a couple rounds left to go.
Putting fault line, just trying to clear some space over through mail. Also, barrier orb again being deleted instantly. So version 1, double stack up top, but this play through mail has been a pretty cognitive decision for LG time and time again. More spam shots coming through, and it looks like this time the toxic screen will provide itself as the line in the sand here for Luminosity.
Yeah, LG kind of waiting this one out for now. Boombot's going to go through it as well to kind of just confirm that no one's up close on the back of that wall. Also, must say some limited firepower coming into this round. A Spectre for Tig, or excuse me, a Sheriff for Tig. A Spectre also in play on his teammate there. Dazzle's going to have a Phantom, but again, slim pickings here for LG is now they're trying to re-aggress me, but again, it's the same old story. Viper Wall slowing them down. They smoke the ropes, looks like they want to go.
Yeah, you've got slow orb paint shells combo that's available here for version 1 if they read this. There's the slow orb. And he keeps the weapon up, but Van still finds first blood. Dazzle gets a second. That's incredible for LG. Now an opportunity to just paranoia your way back onto the site. Only player they have not dealt with is Whippy, and he actually gets a bit of assistance on the rotate from Vanity. His paranoia comes out. That will be good for 1, but Vanity in the back with the operator cannot convert on the shot. So after the resurrection, it's going to be a 1v5 from Thief.
Yeah, it seems like when V1 has tried to play this double B Heaven setup and actually fight for it, more often than not, they've gone down. They did have that one round where they won like a 3v3 scrap in that area, but there's been a couple of times where they tried to do a couple of these different setups where they just kind of got blown apart. So it's really been a story where when LG decided to load up the box of B Heaven and through mail, and they just play the brute force game, they often are able to, you know, swing out there, get a couple of kills, and just unlock that B side. That's definitely been the vulnerability for V1 when there's been one.
Oh. Really an impressive double for Thief, but regardless, still categorized thrifty for Luminosity. I'm a bit surprised by that. I mean, they did carry a couple of weapons or something of the nature where I guess they just stayed under the tally, but you thought with the one rifle and the 2 Spectres, that was going to be more than a thrifty. But regardless, the game gives it to them. And beyond that, how about the fact that Luminosity have found 5 on offense and realistically a really good look to tie this half up?
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty solid offensive side from LG. You know, again, V1 finds the bulk of their success on split on the defense, as most teams do. They definitely had some strong attacking sides in their own right, don't get me wrong. Their attack looked pretty good in Iceland. That wasn't really why they lost, but still definitely getting limited on their success, and more than I would have thought coming into it, especially with Thief being able to play an agent he's more comfortable with. Again, not singling him out, but just you've been seeing LG be able to really kind of exploit this mailroom position several times.
Oh, that's so good from Vanity. Oh my goodness. Denies the majority of the flash and then immediately snaps back around for a double. Unbelievable. Plus the spike down.
Yeah, that's big. They can't really hold the spike. They will give it back, but I mean, they're not worried about that when they already have a 5-on-3. They have Viper Spit available for a retake. I mean, they're sitting pretty right now. And Vanity's
Vanity
relentless.
affected. Yeah.
You're seeing that a lot more. Players being willing to stay in the stun and just fight because they feel like it's not impacting them enough. Like they can still, with good aim, still be able to, rattle off some good accurate shots and still, have impact.
Well, here comes the problem spot for version 1. Up
Yep.
top through B tower.
30 seconds left.
He finds the first though. Page Shells is going to make things absolutely chaotic. Proto and Ban, they'll
There it
still
is again.
come away. That's a 1-for-2 exchange again up top at B tower. Neural
Yep.
Theft earned, and Luminosity will recognize they've got a free plant over to A.
Yep.
This is a very doable, what was a 3v5, now a 2v3.
Yeah, the only issue is that their Cypher's very
10
low on
seconds
HP, and since they're going to have to rush this plant, they're not going to have a crazy amount of time to get, like, better post-plant positioning. They're going to plant as safe as they
Spike
can towards the
planted.
backside. The thing is, V1 are kind of taking their time, which is giving them more
Yeah.
chances to give doubt. Now, Vanity's trapped behind a tripwire as well.
He deletes it, so his position will largely be revealed. Ban
Yep.
really just solely focused on what's coming through screens. Version 1's retake currently mostly possessing the A tower and A ramps. Up top, Ban, beautiful shot. Also still has the knives to play with. Proto gets an angle. He finds a second. This would be a 3v5 for Luminosity. To tie up the half, and they convert. Proto finds 3 in the round, 2 in total at critical health at the end.
Switching sides.
Yeah, I feel like the story of this half is V1 typically playing really well, but they basically lost 3 rounds off of their own errors, right? I mean, you had them lose a big round early in the game due to kind of a misspray on an A heaven push. It was, one of these rounds, this one right here. This is the one. Effie sets them up nicely, but then this happens that unlocks them to get to B and win that round. They win the next round because V1 had to eco. So that's a big error for V1 that cost them 2 rounds right there. And then I feel like that last round's another V1 error.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, I got to give credit where credit's due. LG were so strong in their B heaven takes. Like, they, majority of the time, were out-fragging V1 in those small battles. So I feel like V1 kind of beat themselves a few of those rounds. But LG did do their job when they needed to.
Oh, aggression coming right through. Paranoia in the mix, and actually Dazzle affects a couple of his teammates, but still finds first blood. And Luminosity to say, that's good, let's back away. We know there's more here, obviously, so we'll play this rest of this pistol 5v4.
Yeah, big catch for LG early there to shut down the attack a little bit and get themselves a man advantage. But V1, relentless in their pursuit of A, will gather up together and take themselves into heaven.
Opportunity to fight this back. Ban finds one, not going to get the second. So even exchange gives us to a 3v3. But take a look at Tig through rope very quickly. He's going to read this rotation, finds one. That's not bad. Keeps things to a 2v2. You also got to keep in mind that you still have Proto lurking by screens, and even beyond that, Dre's mid-map still watching this rotation.
Yeah, I mean, they basically know exactly where V1 is, and they have all angles covered. They're either going to commit to A and they'll spot that, or your boy Dre will spot them trying to cross back through ropes into B heaven. So LG's doing a good job just kind of playing passive, but keeping tabs on V1's movement so they can try to work this 2v2 out together rather than give V1 too many 1v1 opportunities or
30
maybe even a
seconds
2v1
left.
opportunities. They're going to bring the spike into A side. A Proto spots both players, does not commit, waiting for the rotation of his teammate, just trying to playing this out. He's going to get smoked off, but again, he's doing the right thing by just waiting slowly and surely for your boy Dre to set in this flank, and there's nothing to alert V1 to this flank.
I don't think anyone's seen Dre all map, so wall will
Big
go
wall.
down. That will actually be a really big nuisance for Proto. He is going to chip through it. Vanity's still holding on
How much ammo has he burned
to a
doing that, though?
Paranoia. He can't have too much. Here comes the play from Dre. They read it. Paranoia comes out, but even beyond that, still, you've got an opportunity. Proto gets onto site. Effie's for 1, Effie's for 2, 3 in the round, and version 1 take the pistol.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he had to do it himself because he wanted them to know that, hey, I can still come screens or I can go A heaven rather than just having to go A heaven, right? He didn't want his teammate to help him break it because then they know where he was. So, yeah, it was definitely put him in a tough spot with that Ghost had to break that wall by himself. It limits his ammo going forward, but winds up not really mattering. Effie's just kind of trounces them with his own pistol. They're getting good production out the entire lineup right now on the V1 side. Only like a 4 frag spread from top to bottom. Also pretty good distribution for LG as well overall. I guess Tig's a little lag behind. Everyone else is kind of on equal footing. It's a very close game so far, but with that round, V1 have a chance to extend the lead as they will have the anti-eco ahead of them.
Boombot actually going to read at least some information that Tig was playing pretty up close and personal to be. Full stack here for version 1 on the execute. And defensively, Luminosity more heavily invested towards what could be something over towards A. Wall will go up. Normal execute coming on. Version 1 have very freely gained possession of the site.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have basically that combination all day long of being able to wall off, being able to blast back the race forward, having the Rainaldiers as well to, you know, do some vision limiting. So they're going to have a lot of ways to do these quick burst type style executes. And obviously this round they had the major firepower superiority.
It's a brilliant slow orb. They seem to know that Tig could be in the back. Good isolation there for version 1. Luminosity going to have to default to have to take from heaven. This is being watched by Effies. A couple of shots will come through, though. Luminosity maybe getting some space to work their way down ropes. Penny not going to find a kill. Ban finds a second. Surely not. Whippy up top will be able to get the pinch if this gets a little bit too dire, which it very well may. Thief finds a couple, dismisses away. Time going to be a problem, and Trey will not be able to clutch things up here. Version 1 take the expected second round and a half.
Yeah, just trying to make a note that I like being proactive there from V1. I mean, not only are you getting to check whether you're getting flanked, but you're also making sure you're not getting boxed in on site, and then you're opening yourself up the option to later on make your own maneuvers to backstab B-Heaven to try to get behind the retake. It just kind of alleviates a lot of pressure and just gives you more ways out. And they're able to capitalize on that, move up to 8-6, but now they're on their bonus. They're going to have the one Phantom for Vanity. Not sure what Effies will have, but they do have 3 Spectres in play against the full rifled LG, though there is no operator for Ban. He's going to have to settle for the Phantom here.
Lot of attention for version 1 over towards A ramps. Yeah. This clearance is going to be something that I think we're going to be seeing pretty darn regularly.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Dazzle is going to be tested potentially with point of contact. It seems like it's going to come, and brilliant first. Is he able to find the second? No, Effie's responds, but in the same breath, Dre mid-map did take down Thief, so we've got Luminosity in a 4v3 early.
Yeah, we are seeing Vanity at least able to put a little bit of mid-presence there, kind of start threatening mailroom, threaten ropes. It kind of keeps the B defense honest, not allowing them to help really reinforce A too much. They'll have to put a lot of trust in a Proto. They also have to worry about A Heaven having been taken. They're having to watch the back hall. So it's kind of keeping this 4-man defense spread a bit thin despite them having a man advantage. So they might be able to kind of just gather up and have like a 3v1 opportunity somewhere. They're keeping that Viper wall and such at A side to keep that honest, but they're gathering up the rest over towards B lobby now. Tig is in the back of the site with Breach, and Span is not too far away here in B Heavens. So it's going to be a tough egg to crack, I feel, for V1. They'll get the orb, and they don't commit just yet. Fault line hits. They have to back off, and they're running out of time. They're going to redivert now to middle.
They're going to stick for a res here by the look of it, and this is going to be hard-pressed. They know for a fact it's going to come up, and Band is here waiting for it, but does not find the first elimination. Quickly rotating over his LG. Flashpoint trying to stall. Dre down low. No slow orbs or walls to play with. Also Tig empty of any sort of utility, but it's not going to make a difference. The kills are coming through. 5 seconds on the clock, but it's Dre! 4 kills in the round. Luminosity bounce back and put this right back to within 1.
Making sure that no one forgets about Dre there. Just an absolutely well-executed series of frags from your boy Dre. Definitely some crafty maneuvers from V1 in that late round, right? Coming together, getting the orb in lobby, getting the res out in middle, get themselves back into a 4-on-4 thanks to the res. They get the entry through mailroom. A lot of things going their way, but then they just become hard-pressed for time. And they keep getting stalled out by Tig and your boy Dre. Your boy Dre wants with the quad kill, so a big individual effort there from him to get the big hold. Move him up to 16 and move them on the heels of V1. Now 1 round away from a tie. And Dazzle's playing that discipline box position, I like to call it. Is it going to get checked or not? If it doesn't, he could blow up this round.
He's going to have maybe a little bit of assistance here from Proto.
Yeah.
That's the other big key. There's a trap wire right in front of him, and then whatever else that Proto can search out. But version 1 are putting some members up top.
Yeah.
Trap wire to keep him honest, so even still, LG have a chance to respond once the play comes through.
Ooh, nice wall to block off the ropes rotation. Now they can start charging in and start threatening back halls, as well as, of course, threatening just coming in through A Heaven. Will they check Dazzle?
Oh, here it is. Patience from Dazzle, but maybe too much. Proto's only able to find 1 in response. It's Penny for 2. Thief lurking mid-map finds a 3rd, and version 1 cruise on into the A site for a plant.
I absolutely love this play from V1, using the Sage wall to block the ropes and use that to basically ensure they're going to get a heaven control. It gives them very much that second route into A site. They can put the bulk of their forces through it. They basically kind of skip past a very tight choke point and get themselves a much bigger opening to approach A site from. And now they can just look to close this round. They had already done the hard part of getting this site and cutting off that initial rotation. Now they stick your boy Dre in pretty much an impossible 1v4 situation. He gets one, but that's going to be it. Penny, some big entries. He's the one that does check Dazzle's position. Again, that was the one ace up LG sleeve on that site. And with him being able to sniff it out quickly, it doesn't allow it to really come into play and have impact.
It's so tough because Dazzle hears all three players up and around him, even gets the information off the trap wire, but Proto was not in the position to find the same angle. They were both looking at Effie's, where realistically, I feel like you'd go back and relook at that if you're Dazzle and Proto say, hey, next time around if we do this, I've got top. You try to play for something over on that A long, or maybe vice versa, because it's a tough angle from both players' perspectives, honestly. It just feels like both of them were looking at the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that was just really well done. That's definitely like a designed A heaven attack from V1. I'm sure they've practiced quite a bit. Eco around now for LG, but they do get first blood here, and they're slowing this attack down pretty well.
And that was on mid. Paint shells coming through, making life a little bit more difficult, though, for the defense on the site. But still, is there enough space to actually get this plant? Effie seems to think yes. Dre is holding, trying to hope that this Boombot doesn't see him, and that's successful. Ban on the way through with Pig as well. Dark cover can potentially be what covers them out, but Ban not really all that great with the knives there. Effie's finds the kill. Vanity a second. 4v2 situation for V1, and they are running and gunning. Pig finds a second, not bad, but overall, still for version 1, a bit more space created as they go up by 3.
Indeed, they are. They're working towards that finish line. They could be joining Sentinels very soon as being our 2 Masters representatives, qualifying immediately for Challengers 1, kind of keeping up with their form from the last stage. They are, really knocking on the door of that, but they still have to get past this full buy, which you feel is kind of like LG's last stand, because if this doesn't work, they're force buying the rest of the game, and it's going to be way lighter than what they have in front of them right now. They're not going to be able to afford the 5 rifles going forward, you'd imagine, or they're going to have to sacrifice armor or abilities or something along those lines. So they need to kind of now or never make this work. They do have Rolling Thunder available for aggression or retakes, as well as a res.
It's a big opening fault line. Connects onto 4 members of Vanity and the crew moving their way through for version 1. On the shadows coming out, Penny also coming through, but immediately to counter is the Rolling Thunder. It affects so many players except for Whippy behind the play, finds one. Everyone shrugs off the status effects, and again, version 1 have gained a sight.
And now you don't have that for the retake, right?
Yep.
That's the thing. Like, you had to pounce off of that and actually get some frags and give yourself an advantage, and instead they come into a 4-on-5. They do have a res, sure. They can maybe get their jet back, but not much utility at their disposal.
On Whippy still behind this play. Whippy's still behind this play. He can just sit here and wait. Now the information is that there are so many players on the backside, Whippy's only able to find one. Would have loved to have gotten a second, but of course the numbers too favorable for version 1. Post plant stays secure, and version 1 gets that much closer to putting the series away.
Yeah, V1 have always been good at these double duelist aggressive executes, and Penny, while he's very capable on the jet, he's been known as a star player there, he's also really good at using Raze's abilities to get that space and create those openings for his teams. And while the Rolling Thunder certainly impacted him, his teams were able to kind of avoid that, come in, build around him, and really just cancel out that Rolling Thunder. It had 0 impact on the round. And that's big when you're behind, your economy's in tatters, and you need that ult essentially to help save you, and it goes awry. Really, really tough on LG.
Van's going to stay right inside this slow orb. Alongside of him is Dre. Vanny's turning around. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's going to be a weapon collected. Full play, though, for version 1. Quickly through B tower. They will be scouted out by the Neural Theft. Whippy still making sure that there is no further push through, but it's going to be overwhelmed. Dre finds a second. That's another weapon in the hands now of Luminosity. This is a very winnable round, but it still will have to be off a retake.
Yeah, but with the collected weapons and being on a 5-on-3, and having, good intel on the opposition, they definitely have a chance. But D doing his job, doing his part. They're going to battle back B lobby as best they can, but a Proto gets 2 with the Spectres. Now all on Pity, he's good for 2, but now he still has to find 2 more.
Paint shells will provide him a little bit of space. Flash comes out, denies most of it, but Tig around the podium first. That'll be good for the kill. Luminosity continue to steal rounds away from version 1, and
I can't believe it.
I don't know if I want to credit Luminosity more or put a demerit on V1 more.
Yeah, I mean, Vanity just gets caught on the timing. Can't blame him too much. I am a bit surprised Whippy committed so much to that. I mean, he's on an island. He knows there's a chance he might get double-faced. I feel like just pulling back and either coming in later once your team has the site or gathering your teammates to take the site and making sure that you at least keep on to the 4-on-5 because at worst you're giving up one weapon, right? And you still have, while a man disadvantage, there's still a good chance to close out the round from that point forward. But giving up a second weapon and then putting your team in a 3-on-5, that just, it kind of sets you on just this domino effect.
Well, extra life here for Luminosity all of a sudden. Version 1 can still afford going into this 20th round, but still the fact of the matter remains that Luminosity steal the way around and it gives them a really good shot to potentially find the word comeback in their dialect.
It kind of cancels out the, Rolling Thunder miss.
Agreed.
And, giving up that previous round. Now they get a little bit more wiggle room. Now, the thing is, V1 can quickly reset them with this victory here and now, and then LG would have really little to spend on what could be their final round of the tournament. So there's still definitely a way for V1 to punish here. They have a res, they have a Viper Spit for post-plant. They're already working a nice little A-split here. They have control of ropes. LG has to double face Heaven.
Fault line connects.
Can't build off of it, though. They'd missed the chance. They're spending a
Massive
lot
round.
of utility, and they're not gaining much from it.
Yeah.
V1 are burning a lot of options for LG here while taking a lot of map control.
The rotation will go right back over to Mail. Paranoia coming through, so here's the take. Flashpoint out. Also the aftershock. Pig will single-handedly deny any play through the top. And Ban, meanwhile, over through A ramps, finds elimination. And so now Version 1 have to go back to their initial fake and commit to it. It's going to be right down on the beat. Take a part of this play. Find some damage. Proto able to follow up with the kills. Still favoring Version 1 as Penny doubles down. And V1 once more will have the B site. Plus, with the resurrection, Vanity gets brought back to life.
You also have to think about what they did to get here. They burnt all that breach utility before they actually even took the site, which allowed them to have much easier passage. It came down to just scrapping at that point, and they win those fights. Now they have a 4-on-2 post plant.
Deep watch in the corner. Dazzle, wide peek, finds one. Effie's, though, turns the corner, finds the final two in line, and Version 1 now on 12-8. But this is the exact same thing we had said about the last map. That 11-8, round 20. Could maybe determine how this map turns out. And now for Luminosity, it's put together whatever you can and hope that you can force it overtime.
Yeah, going to be very tough. They only had 2 rifles coming into this. They had the Spectre for Dazzle. A Proto and Ban had to settle for pistols, it seems. At least a Proto having to only go for Sheriff. Not sure what Ban has in play.
He's got Blightstorm.
Okay. Well, there you go. Let's see what happens. V1 looking to just load up A early, and they are going to be right. It's a big mid-push and double B lobby push from LG. It's a wide-open site.
Oh, misses an opportunity off his trap wire. He had a free look at Penny. It's going to be a little unfortunate. Viper's pit down. Spike being planted. And Luminosity are going to be straggling, getting over for a retake look.
This is going to be so difficult to break now. Inferior firepower, down a man. Viper's pit on the site. Good luck.
Yeah. Gonna have to see something incredible here from Ban. First one defensively up on this post plant. It's going to be Vanity. Sitting in the poison cloud. Here's one to come over the top. Finds Tig. Immediate response coming through. So now 3v4. Thief on the site. Dealt with. Wait a second. Dre and Dazzle find a couple. 2v3. Ban gets the right click off. Clearing out space. Not going to find Penny. Just down to one. Showstopper in play. Dazzle sidestepping. Gonna be able to, no, not find the kill onto Effie. Had the beat on him, but could not quite connect. Version 1 take both maps 13-8. We'll break things down, set things up for the next series after this.
Which brings me to my next point. Do we think KO would date an air fryer?
Dude, Jacob. I hacked into VCT, bro. We're in VCT.
Oh.
This is our
my
chance.
God.
Okay,
Hey.
what's up, VCT
Hi,
chat? We have a
everyone.
big announcement for you guys.
A super big
Okay,
announcement.
so
But first, do you think KO would date an air fryer? I
no,
think it's something
Jake,
that's very
no, Jake,
possible.
nope.
It's,
We don't
well,
have that much time, dude.
Alex,
I'm
I think
not
it's
doing this.
something
I'm not doing this.
that we
Don't have that much time. Okay, you're muted. That's it. Hi, VCT chat. What's up? I'm Alex. This is Jacob. We're Loading Screens hosts every Tuesday and Thursday this month at 11 a.m. on Twitch and YouTube. We're going to be giving away $50 Valorant gift cards. $50 Valorant gift cards Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. on Loading Screen right here. Okay, announcement done. Jacob, do you have anything you would like to say?
Yes.
Okay, what?
Do you think that
No!
would date Boombot?
Jacob,
I think it's something
stop!
we should
No!
Look, you got me. No chance at just one glance to your glory. I needed it. Look at my past. Do you need anything? You can use me. I'm yours. change of range.
Welcome back, everybody. I hold shift with Dust, and we're through our first series of the day. 213-8 tallies for version 1 as they qualify for the first main challengers event here in stage 3. But split Still a little shaky at moments and times here for version 1. A couple of the rounds that we thought, at least by our evaluation, should have been pretty clean, smooth sailing, but not the case. And I think that's a lot of credit, not just to the fact that Luminosity are here to play, but that version 1, you know, we're still really needed to polish some stuff up.
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like a lot of the things that went against them were like just little mistakes that you're just going to make sometimes. Like sometimes you're going to miss a shot. Sometimes you're going to take a duel maybe you shouldn't have because you think it was right at the time. And again, like they lost probably 3 or 4 rounds just off of like little battles going wrong. I mean, I think all in all, they played a really good game. I think they could have easily won that game like 13-5, 13-6 if they wouldn't have had a couple of those mishaps happen.
Agreed.
Now, credit to LG. I feel like, particularly their attacking side of Split, they had some really good, like, just pressures on B Heaven and Mailroom. Like, they were winning those fights often.
Yeah.
They really looked like they were confident just playing that fast-paced play style, just loading up and just swarming in and winning their exchanges. But I feel like once V1 got on their attack, again, you could see they had some really nicely polished AXQs, particularly that A Heaven take that we saw was really brilliantly done. And then, yeah, they had like this one little mishap on this round where Whippy probably hangs around a bit too long watching that B push. But after that, they kind of tightened back up and had no problems closing out the game. So, I mean, I think all in all, considering the fact that V1 just got Whippy back, they're having to use a stand-in for Delsis and, you know, everything else that they've been dealing with. And honestly, if you compare them to, like, literally any other top 10 team in the region besides maybe Cloud9 Blue, I mean, they're pretty fresh as a roster together.
Agreed,
like,
yeah.
a lot of these other teams have had a core that's been together since, like, first strike, whereas some of these guys were a little bit later to the game. So, I mean, I think if you're going to give them a grade here, I think it's still kind of an A, considering everything that they've been going through.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, passing grade, you get through 2-0. I mean, 13-8, maybe you could be
Yeah.
a little bit cleaner, but still, it's 2-0 nonetheless, which is, I mean,
You're
we did
nitpicking,
not see-
basically.
Absolutely, we are. I mean, there was nothing but map 3s all day yesterday. So we'll take a
Yeah.
look at our credit karma, instant karma of the match, and a couple of good moments. Situation on site, but the play from Vanity to get out of dodge. You see Dazzle trying to track him down, and the crossfire setup for version 1 puts him in a really solid spot to try to close this up.
Yeah, it's just them kind of making the best they could out of a tough situation and able to, you know, fight their way through it. I think in particular their use of utility to limit what they were going to have to worry about on that retake was a big part of it.
Well, we'll get into the next segment just very instantly. The Verizon post-match interview. We have Vanity on the line. We can obviously ask him a handful of questions about maybe some of the things that did go wrong. But first and foremost, Vanity, welcome. I was about to say, I expect the cat ears to be on and in full force. Happy to see it. Congrats on the win. But I want to get your initial thoughts. Obviously, Zelsis not in the picture. Just how are you guys feeling kind of having to go through what is essentially a fill-in fifth at the moment?
I mean, it sucks. It is what it is, though. Like, we've done it before. We can do it again. I think we've shown that our core has a pretty good understanding of how to play off each other, and I think that I'm good at getting the most out of the players on my team, which, I mean, if you're denying it at this point, I guess you just don't like me. It is what it is. But, like, I don't know. We've done it before. I think acclimating players is something I'm pretty good at, because I think the way we play isn't super, like, I don't know. People think we have, like, insane strats and stuff, but it's mostly just us talking to each other, and I think we have, like, really good comms and really good team cohesion. I think that's definitely why it's easier for us to play with a stand-in compared to some of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you have a pretty good balance, I would say. Like, there's that one A Heaven strat, I feel like, on your attacking side that looked like kind of by design when you Sage Walled off ropes and you just, like, loaded up 3 through A Heaven. Was that kind of by design, or was that also kind of on the fly in your...
we
on the
like
fly?
have like no. We have like one strat on every map, maybe.
Listen, man,
But
help me help you, okay?
I mean, we just talk. I don't know. We have things we
There
like
you
to
go.
do, but like, there's nothing like set in stone. I guess essentially, it's like people see openings, they take the openings. Like, we talk to each other, and I think that that's how I like to play, and I think that's something that we all have learned to do. I think we do a pretty good job at it.
So kind of going off those instant reaction type gut check calls, anything that you guys are looking back on, you know, one of the things we kind of looked at a lot was your defense over at B Tower. It continually got tried and typically more than tested by Luminosity. Was there anything in particular that was going wrong for you guys there, or is something in particular that maybe you just want to change to try to fill that gap?
I don't know. I think defense is always going to be the harder side with the stand-in rather than attack. At least on like the teams that I IGL, I think that's always been like the. Because in Counter-Strike, it was the same way. Like, our CT sides were a little bit worse than our defense. Like when we had stand-ins throughout my career, and I think that's because like people get used to playing spots with people, and I think that we swapped agents a little bit here. So like our usual 2 people that play B tower are Effie's and Zelsis, but with Thief coming in, we have him playing Reyna, but Penny is usually the A player, so we just have them playing the normal spots, and we're not trying to switch things up too much, even if the agent composition makes more sense for them to switch. Like, so we're just letting it flow. I mean, if it continues to be an issue, then maybe we'll think about switching it, but I think for now it's just them getting used to playing with each other more so than anything.
All right, so I gotta ask one dumb question. You know, gotta get one in. So you got the cat ears. See, there's a cat playhouse behind you. Be honest.
My cat's
have
in
you ever
there.
worn? Yeah. So have you ever like got in there with them with the cat ears on and just had a little time in the cat playpen
I
over
think
there?
I would break that thing if I think any human over the age of like 10 would absolutely smash this thing. It doesn't seem.
Have
like
you
it's
ever
that high
thought about it
quality.
though? Like, have you ever just looked
No.
over at it with their cat ears on and been like, you know what, that looks fun? No. All
I
right.
can't say I have.
I
No, but
can't. I
see it
couldn't let
running
that
around my-
opportunity go.
Like I see my cat running around my apartment, and I just like that's like I wish I was a cat because they're so fast, dude. They move so quick.
Yeah. I feel like you'd have a struggle
that's- yeah.
like getting your gaming setup going as a cat though. I feel like
Oh, yeah,
the
for sure.
ratio of like desk height and stuff like that would definitely be a rough one for
Yeah,
you.
no.
You know, I couldn't let that opportunity pass. I hope you understand, but I appreciate you taking it like a champ.
Of course. Come on.
Vanity, thanks so much, man. We'll let you get off on that one, and I imagine that thought will now be running through your head from now until forever. So you can, of course, just thank Dust for that mental
welcome.
picture. Congrats again on getting into the challenger's first attempt through.
Yeah, thank you.
So there it is, version 1, 2-0 through Luminosity. I can't believe you asked that. Actually, I can believe you
I was
asked
about to
that.
say, come on. I know you haven't worked with me for very long, Chip, but like, you know.
That's too much, or just enough, one of the two. But with that, of course, we get into what will be our second match series as we're about to get things set up. It's going to be Cloud9 versus Rise. Again, a storied champion at one point in time, going up against the untested and recently kind of rotating door of a roster of Rise. We'll be setting that one up when we come back on the backside of this break. Do not go anymore, as we have one more match to go through after this.
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank, 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 bank. Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang,
Welcome back, everybody. We've got one more match here on the main stream, and it features another potential upset opportunity as Cloud9 Blue will be going up against Rise. Should be a pretty interesting matchup, all things considered. Before we dig into it, of course, if you have not already adjusted your monitors, you might need to, because, well, I'll tell you what, if you're not already gaming on a Zowie monitor, you're already missing out on a major opportunity, because the new technology they've added with this dynamic accuracy has been absolutely unbelievable, truly designed for the FPS experience. And instead of trying to be a gaming monitor for everyone, Zowie has focused on things like reliability, speed, clarity, and comfort. And with that dynamic accuracy, you're able to essentially easily track your enemies, control your weapon spray, and of course, secure the site for the squad. So check out zowie.benq.com if you need to adjust what you've got going on your monitor. And then, of course, just beyond that, I know everyone's looking to celebrate 4th of July. Make sure you do so safely, not just because of the fireworks, but, of course, COVID-19 is still very much so a real thing. So if you're not already vaccinated, please consider it, as both Riot and Valorant are teaming up with the White House to make sure that vaccinations, or at least the awareness of getting vaccinations, are much more readily available. So I'll tell you one thing, I got mine just by going to my local grocery store, walked in, they say, which would you want?
What aisle is it on?
Got it out. It was in the pharmacy area, just right there. Just like
obviously.
pulled it off to the side. Yeah, no, I picked it up right next to the Hot Pockets. It's right there, just ready to go.
Yeah.
Just make sure you stack up on some Gatorade and some ibuprofen. You'll be good to go. So again, go ahead and check all that out. Vaccines.gov. That will get you the information to get yourself ready to go and get safe, so we can get back to partying and celebrating America.
There you go, man. There you go. Yeah, we got a great matchup coming up for you. We got Cloud9 taking on Rise. And, of course, Cloud9 is a team that, had a pretty good 2020 up until the very end, right? Up until where it mattered most, where they were unable to qualify for First Strike, right? Then you look at them coming into 2021, they made some changes, and they were not able to qualify for a single Challengers event throughout the first stage of the VCT. So, again, it went from bad to worse. But they have made more changes. They have brought on people like Floppy. Now they have even Zeppa on the lineup in place of Poise. They're, kind of rebuilding the team, so to speak, and they've been doing pretty well so far, man. I have to say, they were able to make the Challengers Finals last season. They just missed out on Iceland, losing to Version1 in that deciding match for the second slot for NA in Iceland. And coming into this stage, I have heard nothing but praise about Cloud9 Blue from every person I've talked to who has been playing against them in scrims or whatever. I hear that they're absolutely nutty. You have the situation where Leaf has continued to prove that he is a big-time duelist, right? Zeppa has come in to be their Jet, and he has been playing really well so far. Granted, he only has 6 official maps under his belt in Valorant and with this team, but so far so good. And even Floppy, honestly, hasn't had that many reps just yet as their controller, right? I mean, he has only played the last stage, so he's still, settling into the game in his own right. But again, I have heard that they got all the scrim bucks. Apparently, they are crushing it in practice, and everything's coming together. There's a lot of hype around this new lineup when you look at social media around the community. And they have some very talented players. Zeta coming over from Korea, being a very flexible guy, be able to bring some new ideas tactically. Mitch is the only man standing, basically for the original Cloud9. But yeah, they have a great team. But then Rise, they're also going through a crazy restructuring phase, right? I think Poised and Neptune are the only two long-standing members. Shanks and Derek only been around since April, and they just got Superman recently in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, definitely a team that has some notable names. Definitely recognizable faces when you think of guys like Superman and Shanks in particular. Then Neptune and Poised again, obviously seeing them around. But yeah, they definitely come in as an underdog, no doubt about that.
For sure. And, the only real name I think most people would probably not recognize, maybe Derek. He is a guy that, has been kind of floating around some of the mid-tier 2 teams. Had a chance with Space Station when they first initially signed their roster, but that didn't really last all that long. Not just for Derek, but also kind of for Space Station, unfortunately. But here's a look at what we have for the overall map series set. We'll go right back to Split. That is chosen by Cloud9, and I'm sure most people remember that run that they started to put together, not just in Challengers 2, but also in the regional finals, largely went through Split. So a very favorable map for Cloud9, but then Ascent will be there for the second, and then Icebox waiting for us for the potential third.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those situations where Rise is going to be kind of hard to read, just considering their limited amount of time together, bringing in Superman very recently. Again, Derek and Shanks haven't been there for too long. But I have to say, they have been doing pretty well on what they have played in so far, which has basically been a couple of the Nerd Street, Summer Championships events. And they also played one other event. It was the Spring Fling for the month of May. And in all those events, they've been beating teams like E United, like Renegades,
Yes.
like Noble. They upset BBG in this open qualifier. They've beaten SONIQS. You know, they've beaten Complexity. So, I mean, they're basically beating everyone they've had to face against. Now, granted, they haven't played against very many, like, top 10 quality teams in the region, but they haven't had many opportunities to yet. And again, so far, so good.
This feels like one of the best put together rosters for Rise since they initially had like Anger and Shocker and all those guys when Rise initially
sure.
got into the scene. So very excited to see what they have to offer for us. But that's the setup. That's the pre-match kind of lingo and verbiage, if you want to say so. We'll be going into a small break, coming back with map number 1. Oh, just kidding. We're actually not going to be going into a break. We'll just be going right into map number 1. So pardon me on that. I was getting all mixed up. But there's no need for us to roll away. We'll just keep rolling through. Why would we do such a thing?
You know what we could roll into? We can roll into a little bit more map discussion.
I love that. I love that
well,
about
agent discussion, perhaps.
I'm all
we can
about
do
that
both
as
of those
well.
things.
We have the time to do that. It's true.
We have the technology. We have microphones. We're on screen, so we can definitely talk about all of these things. As again, coming into this, Cloud9 Blue has put Zeppa in that Jet slot, so definitely going to be expecting to see him playing a lot of Jet. Again, he's been doing great so far with it. Then, of course, you're going to likely have Leaf playing that secondary duelist. That has definitely been kind of a mainstay for him since he's been on the team, kind of rotating between like Phoenix and Reyna in particular. That's one of their most recent games. I feel very comfortable there. Floppy was playing some Astra. He kind of came into the team right as the Astra meta was developing, but now you are seeing him play some Omen and some Viper, so definitely kind of being that primary controller. And then, of course, Mitch kind of playing the Sentinel, something he's done, you know, off and on for Cloud9. He had like a period where he was playing some like Jet, you know, and things of that nature as they were kind of going through some roster changes. But he's definitely going to, you know, be coming to this as a Sentinel that he's, you know, comfortable with. And then Zeta, of course, has kind of shifted between playing Sova and Initiators throughout his time on this team and throughout his career, just generally speaking. So I expect to see one of those two things, with it being split and with therefore being no need for a Sova. Definitely expect to see him pick up a Sky or a Breach coming into this. Looks like he's actually going to be taking up the Viper, which frees up Floppy to play the Omen. And they're going to... Leaf will definitely get a duelist now. No doubt about it.
Yeah, without question. You would have to feel like that would be the case. On the other side, though, we do have a full lock-in for Rise. And again, at least, you know, from our standpoint, this is kind of a learning opportunity to see what this roster has to offer for us. And I think first and foremost, you look over towards the fact that Superman is going to be bringing out the Astra. As obviously, like we continue to mention, fallen off of the same favor that she had during Stage 2. But still some use, and you feel like there's an opportunity for some good combinations with Neptune off of the play from Superman.
Yeah, I mean, coming into Split, you're looking at Rise. And again, while Superman is a very new addition, the rest of the team has kind of been together since early April, and they have been doing really well on Split. Their only recent losses on the map have been to Complexity. Both those games were fairly close. They've also beaten United, Renegades, Noble, Spot Up. I mean, they're beating a lot of teams, and this composition that we're seeing on screen right now is pretty similar to some of the comps we've been seeing them play for a while. Like, they've really stuck to the Astra. They sometimes rotate between playing a Cypher or a Killjoy. They did use Killjoy in their most recent match. And yeah, they usually do some type of like Jet Rays combination. So definitely not really anything too surprising to see here. You know, definitely have been known to play the stage for quite some time as well. So I feel like we haven't really seen any curveballs here. The only real thing that is maybe slightly different is like the fact that you're starting to see Zeta play some Viper for Cloud9. That's like the real only adjustment.
I'm really interested just to see what Zeta is going to be doing as far as the default setups. This obviously is going to be a wall over towards A. Smoke will allow him to move up towards ramps, but the rest of Cloud9 showing some aggression up towards Mail. Wall will come down to respond as paint shells over the top could actually provide a lot of damage, and it will. More than a lot of damage. First kill will be confirmed. That's Derek who falls. Up top, though, Supa finds an immediate response, so even at the early interaction, we still have a 4v4.
Indeed, we do. On equal footing here as far as man count. We are seeing the heal happen there to get Shanks back up to speed. Two players defending here as we do see C9 going for the full split. Floppy catches Superman way off guard. Neptune unable to recover it as Floppy takes full control of the site now. The rest of his teammates will be flooding in. Only two members left here for this retake. Poised, first man in. He's down as well now, all on Shanks, and tough ahead of him.
Shots tapping with the frenzy will eventually be challenged, and Floppy just sneaking through Mail wins the round without question. I mean, the immediate rotation from Cloud9 coming through with the main focus being through main. obviously gets them onto site safely, which puts Rise's attention back towards that main entryway. But it's this play to open up the space initially that you thought was going to be the big key. But Floppy rotating on through for free, finds these 2 kills, and from there on out, it's just too much to deal with for Rise.
Also, I wanted to double check this to be sure, and I confirmed it. This is the first time Zeta's ever played Viper in a match.
Okay.
Obviously, in the past, when this team would play Split, he played a lot of Breach. So this is definitely a big pivot for Cloud9 Blue coming into this game. I'm sure it's something they've been practicing a lot, but this is the first time we get to see it.
Oh, early point of contact. Rise sneaking down mid. Gets smoked out. Defensively, they will track backwards as Zeta makes his way onto site. Leaf very quickly takes control of screens, finds the first elimination, and does it cleanly, not losing a single point of health. Rise trying to rotate through this angle is going to be tested the entire way, and Leaf, I think, was very well responded to that. He will back away, knowing that they need to wait for the spike to still get onto site.
Yeah, Cloud9 were a little bit lagged behind on the spike carriers, but they are going to make it up. Mitch blocks their flank with the wall. They still have the Poison Orb and Viper wall blocking Heaven and screens, respectively. So they'll be able to get the spike down no problem. Now the Omen smoke comes up, the further block off screens position. They have a player in the Heaven rafters, so everything's looking great for Cloud9.
Derek is about to realize this whole slow rotation from Sewer is going to be all for nothing. He's going to walk right into a barrier orb and say, oh, shoot. So it's on really to Supa. What can he do? Finds one with the shorty, but at this point, Derek, oh, nice little parkour right over the top. And maybe an opportunity to find a kill or two, but a 1v4 with the Classic with not a lot of time, likely not going to happen. So let's see if he can find a point of contact. Everyone running away from him, and it looks like Derek has missed his window, at least for now. Zeppa coming back to the play. A headshot does connect, but Zeppa, too much firepower, wins the gunfight, and Cloud9 Blue go up 2-0.
Yeah, now Rise can finally, get their weapons and actually put their best foot forward. I mean, Superman, again, a guy who's been around, mostly known for his time on Dignitas, but also brief stints on Immortals and Beast Coast, a controller player that definitely at times has been, very powerful. Obviously, Shanks, mostly known for his time on Immortals and Energy. So they have definitely made some big upgrades to the roster, I feel like, with these picks. And certainly Neptune and Poised are names that people recognize as well. And Anger, he's still there. He's as the coach of the team, a very experienced player. Definitely knowledgeable dude.
Early information here from Rise. What to say? They see both players cross, and Shanks is equal to the task, finding both the duelist players early. Mitch on the corner, also going to be red, but it will be eventually isolated. So there is an opportunity to get this back to more level numbers here. Cloud9 Blue still having to fight back a 2v4, though.
Yeah, Cloud9 is trying to brute force their way into A early, and they got absolutely shut down. Shanks with a big double kill there to kind of kick things off, and now Rise has made some good rotations into A Heaven. They still have Poise locking it down over here towards screens. And so Mitch and Floppy are going to have a tough time. They're trying to wall their way up into A Heaven. Interesting maneuver. Maybe they can find a little vulnerability here. They actually do almost catch one with the blind side, but Neptune had him covered. A nice attempt from Cloud9, but it is caught by Rise.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the key word. Caught was the whole key. I mean, you saw for a moment, knocking on the boombot was Neptune the entire way through. He catches both Leaf and Zeppa, making their aggressive move up A ramps, which allows Shanks a chance to expect the play, and he finds 2 kills because of it. And then beyond that, also, again, getting caught trying to make the play up top, as there was maybe an opportunity there for a moment, but good kind of crossfire setup between Derek and Neptune to make sure everything stays safe.
Yeah, and again, this is kind of a cool little pivot from Poise. I had to also kind of point out. This guy was normally an Omen player for a very long time. Played a bit of Sage as well in Astra, and now being that Sentinel.
Really put a contact could come through here at B main. Lots of utility being sent as Rise. They want this area, and they will successfully grab it. Wall will go down early. So Derek and Neptune continue to work together, but meanwhile, mid-map, that's where the play from Cloud9 largely is trying to succeed, and they have found Shanks early. So now it's on to Poise. You mentioned it. Time for him to showcase what he's got from a Sentinels POV. He's the only sole defender still over by A.
Yeah, you're seeing just great clearance by Leaf into A Heaven. They already had a player position outside A ramps as well, so they can start pinching in on the site, which is wide open now. Just big entry there from Leaf into A Heaven. Nice site control here from Cloud9 Blue. They have a Viper Spit available as well for the post plant, which will be deployed pretty much immediately here behind the screen. It's going to be a tough retake now from Rise. Is there a man behind it? They have to contend with that Viper Spit.
Yeah, I'm looking at Neptune. He's got to hopefully have something to open up some space. But again, they used a lot of their utility to get through B main. So will there actually be an opportunity to use anything to clear out some of this Viper's pit? The answer would seem to be no. But Poised able to turn things into a 4v4. Now here comes the approach. Rise largely comes from the outside. Poised finds the second from the back, but Mitch lining up two, not going to get the third. Super keeping things all even, and Poised has found a third. Just down to Zeta. 1v2 situation. Not going to get the better of Supa. And my goodness,
man.
So Poised, the sole defender, finds 3. He'll be awarded the defuse, and Rise successfully retake.
Oh, just got it, too. Another second of stalling, and Cloud9 Blue may have won off the spike explosion. Really nicely crafted retake from Rise to break through the Viper's pit, especially when Mitch was able to get a couple of kills off the edge of it. And then you had Shanks go down so early. It was looking really good for Cloud9. But Poised and company able to just brute force their way through it, worked it out together, kept their spacing exactly how they needed to, and traded very efficiently inside the Viper pit to get themselves a victory, tie up the game, and force Cloud9 Blue onto a very low buy, whereas they're sitting on Phantoms aplenty.
Got a lot of early utility being spent from both sides over through B garage here. Neptune's even considering, does he want to use a paint shell to try to get control once more? Cloud9 Blue have been gifted space through mid for 4 straight rounds. They'll continue to use that. Leafy, the showstopper, trying to come through. Not the greatest movement we've seen from him ever, but he still gets clearance to get back onto the B site.
Yeah, really strong take here from Cloud9. Leaf already in the back halls, looking to maybe even flank these heaven stairs, and no one's really even paying attention to that yet because Rise is so committed to holding on to this B lobby control. Leaf only good for 1. Superman, that's a big double kill to keep them in the hunt. They still have B lobby control as well. Shanks now cutting off the rest of this back halls attack. Rise is contending this pretty darn well, all considering. Now it's actually all on Zeta.
What a shot from Shanks. 3 kills in the round, and okay, so here's something else to kind of keep in the back of our mind as Rise can cleanly hold the setup, even though Cloud9 find the aggression through. That's a couple of different offensive looks where Cloud9 have gotten through a site, but the spike is nowhere to be found. That time, it's actually a late play where Zeppa is actually bringing the spike all the way back in towards the defensive spawn. So the play around the objective initially looks great, but the play for the objective has been maybe a little bit looser than we've come to know.
Yeah, maybe, but you also have to give credit for Rise, like knowing what they had, right? Like knowing that, yeah, we have double B lobby control. Yeah, we had to give up B heaven in the site, therefore. But they were able to have Superman really kind of contain that back hall's hit, and then again, they just maintain control of B lobby to ensure that they would get the site back. So it's crafty play from Rise at the same time, like making calculated, like creating calculated vulnerabilities that they know they can cover for, if that makes any sense. So definitely like the play there from Rise defensively. But yeah, Cloud9 Blues had a couple of chances go awry, we'll say. A couple of swings and a miss.
Well, this time, trying to send this one through ropes. Poise, once again, going to be tested. Shanks here with them. No one has actually seen Poise yet. Now he reveals his position. He finds one. Would love a second, but the neural theft will come through. Spike once again, down to the ground. Superman on the rotation from behind. Leaf is good for 1, but is not able to collect the spike. So a heal will come through, and a second attempt will be made to grab this. Oh, Gravity Well will come through. That's going to stop everybody in place. Really well timed, and once more the spike not collected, but Zeta coming through. Ramps finds one, nearly a pixel peek up top on the Neptune. Resurrection just to bait out the play, and Mitch and Leaf swing for the kills, but is it enough? It's just down to Derek, not quite able to clean things up. And it's another costly round, but Cloud9 Blue able to get us back to level at 3.
Yeah, 2 big things there. 1, Leaf continues just to put the pressure on, man. He is so aggressive, you know, just being able to get up there, take point, be fearless. You know, at times it kind of, I don't know, like, it reminds you a little bit of Asuna. Like, just being willing to just kind of get in there and just fight it out. And then also just a great use of the res. In an open position that they know that is going to cause a reaction from Rise, they kind of play off of it, and they're able to just double out from ropes and make things happen. Able to battle through the grab well, battle through the walls, battle some of the things that were going to maybe harm them. They found a way around it.
Oh, Shanks.
Dicey, but it works.
Initially, it works.
Yeah. No pun intended to the
blood. Cloud9 still stacking mid-map. This time, though, Derek is going to be stunned up, but the judge, close quarters, able to find one. Zeppa, knives of his own, able to find the second elimination. Pain Shell's going to flush him right into the waiting arms of Neptune, who goes right to the showstopper, turns, finds Mitch. Oh, incredible play from Neptune. But Floppy teleports behind this play. gonna go ahead and try to stick for the plant. Rise seem like they want to try to contest this as soon as possible. Dark cover coming through. Shake's floating on in. But Floppy's avoiding this, and Shakes falls to, oh no! Dies to fall damage. Floppy's behind the play again. Neptune's low. If he can find poise, this is very winnable. There's the first, no! Neptune snaps in time at 6 HP. And the defuse again confirmed.
Oh my god, that round was insane. What a round, dude. I think the instant replay will just kind of tell it all. I mean, you're thinking C9 are done for after Rise just makes such a huge play with Neptune's raise dash into heaven, you know, building off of Derek's kill. Zeppa, obviously some great daggers, but Neptune fearlessness in his veins. And then to see that happen to Shanks. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
He was so close to landing on top that sight box and being totally fine. It winds up not mattering. His teammates cover it. And now Cloud9 had to go for a low buy.
Another slow orb boombot play from Rise, getting control of B. They've denied this ultimate orb routinely.
Yeah.
Which is a small thing that I feel like doesn't get talked about a lot, but for Rise, it's obviously been pretty cognitive.
We've seen
they
this
wanted
before
to take over
too,
this
right?
position. Yeah.
We've seen their willingness to just like take B lobby control, and hey, maybe B heaven becomes a bit more vulnerable. But this time around, they're actually reinforcing it with 2 more players on B site, and they're just playing. Okay, we'll give up mid, but we have A heaven covered. We have B heaven covered. We have control of B lobby. Like they have so much map control on the Rise side of things.
Oh, and they have the star here to also try to make life difficult. That's why. Paint shell gravity wall combination. This time not going to connect. Neptune on a corner. Paint shell bounces right in front of his face. He has to give up the angle, and Cloud9 Blue once again get B tower. Quickly trying to work their way in. Leaf with a Spectre, able to find one. Neptune's line.
Player standing.
And there's just nothing they can seem to do. Superman now left alone in a tough 1 versus 2. Players have really great positioning to kind of play off of each other, not really get to command the 1v1s that he wants. And yeah, that's going to be the nice crossfire. Zeppa collecting the hat trick. That's a big round from Cloud9, coming in with lower firepower. Again, not having much map control early on, and they just kind of tear their way through it. And I feel that's going to be the big story. Zeppa and Leaf might be the most skilled aimers on this server. And so when they feel confident and they get going, they can definitely cause a ruckus. And then you just got the shenanigans of Mitch's wall. You know, that's a nice little X factor, I guess you could say. So that's a big victory for Cloud9 Blue. They kind of steal one away a little bit earlier than maybe Rise was anticipating, as the last 4 rounds in a row have been back and forth. So no one really has control of this game yet. Both economies are fragile. No one really has, you know, that consistency just yet.
But it is essentially complete turntables moment here as Rise find themselves on the hampered buy, and Cloud9 Blue have the full purchase. And I'm just really curious to see if Rise are going to continue to allow this B main just to be, or this middle of the map just continue to be taken for free for Cloud9. This time it looks like they actually are trying to contest this early, but Cloud9 not interested, are actually rotating over as they got damage onto Shanks, and they could play maybe over for A.
Yeah, I mean, when you have this Raze Jet combo, I mean, you just want to do these explosive, like, fast-paced burst plays, right? Like, it just lends to those 2 agents, especially on the hands of Leaf and Zeppa, who are fearless and are fragging out, and they're trying to do it yet again here. Poison Company, though, trying to hold on, but not for long, unfortunately.
Shanks just gets stuck by a blast pack?
I don't know what happened because my screen was wrecked. I think he did. I think you're absolutely right. Like, it wrecked our spectator view. I was so confused. I was just trying to trudge along. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Here's something beeping on him, but back into the round, Rise is actually in a position to where they could fight back for a thrifty of their own here. 2v3. Zeppa down low has gotten at least an angle on where Neptune's position. They should know Zeppa's playing from behind, and Zeppa's anticipating this peak, but still can't win the gunfight. So now 2v2 onto the site. Up top, Bitch not able to find anything. Zeta in the back finds one, knows where the second is. Shoulder for shoulder, Supa for 4, and Rise respond back with the lower economical disadvantage round of their own.
How does that happen? What a round from Rise to recover off a thrifty. Cloud9 Blue had such big entries. They had man advantage in the post plant. Things were looking brilliant. And then Rise pull a rabbit out of the hat. Superman being a big part of that, of course. They are really just going toe-to-toe. Again, the last 5 rounds in a row are just back and forth. Cloud9 have had a lot of plants these last few rounds. We're only netting 2 closes. And yeah, look at this from Shay.
Unreal, dude. I've never seen that interaction before.
Like, I remember his vision too.
I would be really interested to actually know.
Yeah, maybe we can find out, because obviously from us at the spectator point of view, that looked really odd.
Yeah. remember it was at stage 1, the first time I'd seen a blaze wall get a kill, and I was giddy about that. But blast pack stick, that takes
pretty
the cake
nutty.
for sure.
Reminds me like a sticky grenade from Halo back in the day, boy. Brings
For
back some
real.
nostalgia. So we're going to see Cloud9 looking to load up the box of Mailroom this time. Again, just trying to play that Leaf Zeppa combo with those 2 aggressive agents, trying to just get those entries quick.
Ooh. Zeppa tried to dash forward. He's going to miss the right click. The showstopper that was also spent not finding any value. So Cloud9 Blue, hard commitment, but the first blood still favors that of Rise. Leaf able to respond, Zeta another as they do get some pressure, but Rise is still in a very formidable position to hold this, and Derek for 2, poised the third. Zeta still threatening, but not going to be able to find a way down from the rafters. So Derek clutches up with 3, and Rise never let go of the B zone.
Yeah, they just don't get their kills. Like, they try to press forward, and Rise just kind of back up. The daggers miss from Zeppa, and interesting to see Zeta spin the Viper's Pit on B Heaven. Normally something you would think you'd use like on the site in a post-plant scenario. I'm not sure if that was like by design or if that was kind of like a reaction to what was going on to try to make sure they kept control of that area of the map. That way they could like really shut down that as a retake route. Either way, it now puts Cloud9 Blue in a tough spot with just Sheriffs in a frenzy. And I mean, Rise are starting to, you know, really control the defensive side now.
Right back through mid-map. Same wall as last round for Cloud9 Blue. Supa playing a bit more forward. Has some assistance this time as it'll be Neptune right there with him, essentially shoulder to shoulder. But the play through Vents. Shanks expects the first, actually expected the second as well, but Zeppa thinks the better of the challenge, at least initially. And Rise will also tally a kill mid-map to go up 5-3 early.
Yeah, I mean, again, Rise are really starting to piece together this defense consistently now. It's no longer the back and forth. They're starting to kind of really dictate the pace of these rounds. As they have the quick 5-1-3, as you said, they have plenty of alts on the table to finish this off. Zeta able to get one little pick there onto Derek over towards B side. Zeppa, though, gets caught trying to pressure A Heaven, and you imagine this is about to get wrapped up by Rise.
You have to feel so. I mean, unless you get something out of floppy right here. Gets an opportunity for it, but cannot convert. And then the last player, Zeta, down low, not going to be able to find too much there. So that will do it. Rise put themselves at the healthiest cushion that we've seen from either team so far. We talked about the fact that the first, realistically, 7-6 rounds were really back and forth, but these last 3, after the Thrifty came through, Rise have been in control of the conversation.
Yeah, they're getting great value out of all their players right now. Again, a lot of former, like, Immortals and Dignitas members on this team. So definitely going to be some familiarity amongst those players. Already some chemistry kind of being revitalized by bringing them back together on Rise. All of these guys are very capable players, very skilled players that just, you know, needed their opportunity to come back together on a team. And now they have it here at Rise, and they're putting up a good showing for themselves. Kick things off here on Split. Shanks, doesn't get to dash away. Great catch from Lee to at least make sure that's an equal trade and keep presence all across the map.
Wants the pixel peek. Maybe saw the brim of the hat of Poise, but both players will back into their respective corners. So 4v4 we go. Resurrection still available for Cloud9. Mitch, you have to feel like is going to try to play for this.
Yeah, both of them have it available.
Similarly,
actually.
that could be the same thing for Derek. Paint shells to push him back, and find a lot of damage. Poise now down just to 30 health. And a 5v4 unfolds with 60 seconds.
I love this, though. The reaction from Rise to push them off of chasing after that kill. It also ensures they can get their res off. Neptune puts the pressure on, gets a pick as well. Keeps it in an even 4-on-4. Forces a heal out of Mitch onto himself.
Wow.
All right, he healed the Raze, actually. That's Leaf taking the heal there. But still, I mean, Rise come out kind of on top. They still have 3 alts in play as well. Neural Theft. All kinds of goodies for Rise. But Zeta, he's taking full control of B. But he's I don't know, he has to kind of make a play, I feel like, in the back halls. And they know, Rise knows it's possible.
Yeah, Spike is still in sewers, but now from the shadows, making the play through. Shanks, other side of the corner, misses a timing potentially on the Leaf off screen. Floppy for 1, but caught immediately afterwards as Zeta try to get the poison cloud down. Spike has to be committed to. Mitch up top does kind of make sure the top stays safe. Now it's successfully planted, and Mitch follows up with another. Just down to Shanks, who barely missed the timing to maybe make this a bit easier on the Leaf. Has the knives to play with here. And an operator. And the first point of contact will be right here on the Leaf. Finds the first one, no problem. Right click and play. dashing on through. 85 health. Now we're on the corner. On the Cloud Burst being spent back corner, stays safe, but both Cloud9 members right and C9 Blue put themselves within 2 after the first half. 7-5 the tally.
Yeah, very scrappy round when you see Zeta just finding out that B is wide open for the taking and starts threatening those back halls. Great ult came in from Floppy to get that spike down towards the sites. And then just able to, you know, pivot everyone back in where they need to be to cut off the rotation. So really strong round from Cloud9 Blue to close out the half, but still a very tight game. And I think Rise had a great showing for the majority of it. I mean, even the start of this round was looking really good for Rise. I feel like they were doing all the right things to make sure they get their res off, to pressure their opponent off the site. But now we switch sides, and Cloud9 Blue, with this core 4, since, you know, I guess around that early, you know, year time frame, have near 70% win rate on the defense of this map. So they're going to feel, you know, like they got enough there, I feel like.
We'll see what Rise has in store for us here at the opening pistol. Win this one, you'll be really confident. Potentially not just to go up 8-5, but you expect them to be up 9-5 after that.
Yeah, they usually get like 8+ rounds defensively on the Cloud9 side of things, especially when they start on the defense in the first half. So, like I said, I feel like they think that they got enough there. I'm sure they would have loved to have 6, don't get me wrong, but
well, sure.
As long as they can convert pistol, I think that they're going to feel pretty good about things.
Cloud burst across, but Zeta sees some information. Stat to Zeppa, able to find one with the frenzy. Boombot, he runs right by it! Oh, the point of contact eventually comes through. Super able to help out. Poised up top, though, gets one tap by Leaf's right click. My goodness, that was at range. And that's Cloud9 Blue now in a 4v3, defensively still holding on to A.
Yeah, wild times there inside that smoke on ramps, but Cloud9 Blue do come out on top in the 4 versus 3 when it's all said and done. All Rise has is a heaven. They can threaten maybe the ropes fall back to middle, but other than that, they don't have much other options. The wall comes up, and it basically saves Derek's life. And he can't really use it to pinch back halls still because there's still a gap there. And Leaf and company are able to handle it, but Superman responds nicely.
It's just down to him, though. 1v2 situation. Maybe double chow. They know he's low. Finds the first. That's 4 kills on the round for Supa. But Mitch just too healthy in the backside of the play. Gets the pistol win, and now Cloud9 Blue a chance to tie up the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to come into this with the Spectre. It's going to be the save from Rise. So definitely should be tying this thing up. And again, now they're on the defense. They're on their favorite side. They're on the favorite side for the map, just generally speaking. So good start here for Cloud9 Blue. Again, some wild antics to kick things off, but they were really able to kind of clamp down afterwards, defend that back hall's pressure that Derek was trying to put into play. And so, yeah, you would imagine that they should be very quickly getting to a 7-7. Oh, they blocked their own
right there
Boombot?
between Wall and Boombot.
Yeah, they blocked their own
That'll
Boombot.
be all
That's
right.
wild.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll have a lot. Paint shells also coming through. Actually, could be in a position to damage up Shanks and does very heavily, actually, beyond that. It should be able to get self-sustained by a healing orb eventually, but that's going to put a very big stall to Rise, who are trying to play through the middle of the map.
Yeah, slow orb's going to slow it down. Smoke now comes up as well, making it harder for them to feel comfortable pressing towards Mailroom. And again, they don't have that much firepower in play. The best they have is maybe a Tailwind Shorty combo out of Shanks to try to find them an opening. And Superman gets to play a little bit of a Astral Plane mini game, putting some stars down, smoking off Mailroom, and they'll play through it.
Stack here, and Leaf has already spent almost all of his utility, save one blast pack, which we know can have an effect in this game. But down low, Floppy able to find one. Paranoia still in hand. Mitch trying to use that to peek, but it's actually Floppy who tallies up 2. Mitch gets the 3rd, and then Leaf around the back finds number 4. Just down to Poised, and he will be just flat out overwhelmed. Nowhere for him to go. So Cloud9 Blue, like you mentioned, expected to take their 7th round, and they do so very clearly.
Yeah, I mean, they had B-Lobby control that entire time, so that, you know, they knew what they had. They knew where they were safe and where they weren't. And it's one of those things where all Shanks could hope for is that someone was up close when they bursted through that smoke on Mail to try to get that Shorty a chance to have impact. And when no one was, I mean, their options were pretty limited from that point forward. But now they have a chance to fight against the Cloud9 bonus round, a chance to maybe pull ahead around here with a superior firepower. Again, they're kind of just opening up fairly default to kick things off. Maybe trying to just get some mid control early. That's kind of the bread and butter of a split attack.
This time, Boop does get through successfully. No wall to block him. The spam shots from Leaf behind it will not largely connect with too much of anything. So Shanks will gain some possession here, and that boombot actually gives them the clearance to go down into ropes safely. That's actually brilliant. Not sure if
this
that
is
was...
the ideal map control play. If you're going to play this like slower mid-control style, to be able to get this much space this quickly is exactly what you want. Now, based on your practice, you should have all kinds of protocols established based on what info you find and what things you start hearing as far as rotations go. Now, this is an interesting little wall play, but now it's gone. Mitch slows, but has to back up into sight, so now Rise are also taking control of B lobby a little bit here, or at least feinting it. Now they'll double back to A side. They've caused a rotation from Cloud9, and they might be able to find a little bit of an opening here on the A side of the map. They also still have mid.
Yeah.
They still have that jet tucked in the ropes.
Super used a lot of utility for B, so they have to feel like this is going to be a call. But yeah, Shanks is in a great spot.
Yeah, he's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
30 seconds left.
So now the Nebulas will come through to block off both Heaven and screens. It isolates Zeta on the site for now. Still has the screen, Snakebite the delay, so now maybe an opportunity for Cloud9 Blue to reinforce, but the hit is on the way. Rise moving quickly, right in front of Zeta. There's a couple of players, but Poise is able to find first blood. Zeppa right to the Cloudburst, nearly gets a bit of a timing, but Rise cleaning things up around their setup. And Shanks was really not even required, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's just the hit from the front was so good.
Yeah. Even throw a Cosmic Divide in for good measure to really deter Cloud9 Blue from wanting to try to fight for this retake early. I mean, now they're going to do what they can. It's a bonus run anyway. They're going to try to play around this wall. Shanks is waiting for them to come on through.
Mitch gets
There you
one.
go. I mean, that's a great design round from Rise. They feinted B very
really
well.
is.
They had their jet in ropes cutting off rotations and listening for that B Heaven maneuver. And as well as a pinch option if they so wanted to get A Heaven later. Yeah, just good design, like mid-control into kind of a, slight fake to B into a really heavy A attack. I mean, again, they definitely look like they're well drilled on this attacking side.
Shout out to our ops team, too. They were great yesterday, incredible today. Just so many good looks at some of these engagements that we've had.
Right.
Big shout outs. Best in the biz, for sure. Prezi and Yeti today, holding down the cams for us. Now an opportunity for Rise to maybe even build a bit of space here. 8-7 the current tally. And if they could find a way to get 9 here on the offense, it would put Cloud9 Blue in a really awkward spot financially. But still, the superior firepower does favor that of Cloud9. It looked for now. Leaf up
Same
top,
opening.
Up an opportunity to make sure that things stay safe. And I was about to say, same exact setup, because Shanks was never a part of that play in the last round.
Yeah, but the good thing about having a similar opening every round is that it makes it hard for the defense to read what you're doing. Like, yeah, okay, they're taking mid-control, they're taking ropes, but what are they doing with that? Unless you're being proactive at A ramps or you're trying to take B lobby control defensively, you're kind of just having to sit back and just kind of wait for something else to happen before you can start rotating. And now they're going to wall over the opposing one. They're going to get into B Heaven here. They're threatening it. There is a player on the rafters with Mitch.
That's our cover is low. Doesn't actually block any line of sight, so Rise can still commit to this, but Mitch able to find one. Eric instantly responding, and then the concussion will come through as Rise will find 3 straight kills. 4v2 situation. Spike's going to be planted, and for C9, Zeppa's already peeking early. He's able to find one elimination, but that will be all he comes for, as they're going to have to back away and try to play this one a little bit more strategically 2v3.
Very tough retake here for Cloud9 with Zeppa already so low on health. It's all are coming from one way, and Rise has good positioning here.
Boys, the camera does get deleted, but they should know that, Zeta's playing on one side, and Boys, brilliant read onto Zeppa for the second. Clean shots coming through, and now 9-7 for Rise. That's going to put them in a really good spot financially, and on the other side for Cloud9 Blue, you're looking at either just a light buy or a full-on save coming up.
Yeah, again, just good masking early in the round from Rise. Doing mid-control, but not really letting their opponents know what they're doing with it until right when the strike comes. They wall over. They're able to break through Heaven. They're able to overwhelm that B site. Trading efficiency is really good. And so now they have the lead 9-7. They have Cloud9 Blue back onto a lower buy. Frenzies and Ghosts. Actually, Mitch picks up a Sheriff right as I say that. And so Rise have a great chance to build up and win the race double digits.
Different setup this time. It's actually a bunch of Astra utility in that position mid-map and over towards ropes, but the same boombot will go through. This time there will be no follow-up from Shanks as he's just positioned inside B main. Spike is also left at mid-market, so for Rise, they're just trying to feel things out and make sure that you can get onto 10 here with the weapon advantage that they hold.
Yeah, they're, once again, putting that same mid-pressure they've been doing every single round. But now they're gathering up all 5 through B lobby, and they have won the rock, paper, scissors battle, so to speak, as they will find an empty B bomb site here. Everyone from Cloud9 Blue is pressing through A ramps. Now they'll have to just kind of flank through sewers and flank through mid and try to play a retake. 5-on-5 with full health, sure, but again, not much weaponry to put to use as the conga line comes through into middle.
Yeah, and
But good
there's
luck
gonna
breaking
be-
this open.
Yeah, you've got Shanks watching the backside. He's going to get some help, and it's Derek who rotates over. Poise is also really close by, just in case.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tall ask here for Cloud9 Blue, and it looks like they will try to make the move from top first, but Derek, that wide peak is so much information. The paranoia comes out. Meanwhile, Poise on the opposite angle, able to find one elimination. Floppy throwing at least a kill into the mix for Cloud9, but largely this has been so beautifully held from Rise, and beyond that, just Red in general as far as how the retake's coming through.
Yeah, this one's done and dusted, one would say. Floppy gets a third there, and that at least makes it expensive on Rise, forcing a little bit of rebuying out. And again, not like Cloud9 Blue could do much in that situation, considering they were just on the pistols. But now, they're back onto the full buy. Again, they are a team that has had a history of a lot of success defensively on this map. They have an operator in play coming into this one for Zeppa. They also have a res in a... Excuse me, they do have the res. They also have a showstopper. Yep. So they have a lot coming into this round. But you feel like this is maybe a tipping point type round. If Cloud9 Blue were to lose here, they would kind of be force buying for kind of the rest of the game because Rise would be one away from map point, and so this is a very scary situation for Cloud9 Blue. Coming in as a favorite, coming in with a lot of hype around them. Rise though has kind of slowly pieced this team together over the last 2 or 3 months, and they look really polished. I feel like. I mean, definitely been impressed by what I've seen so far on this attacking side.
Absolutely. I was about to say the exact same thing when it comes to the fact that we're seeing what they have to offer here from the attack, maybe even a little bit more so than the defense, which, to be fair, was also good. I mean, really good, to be honest. So now you're in a must-win round here for Cloud9, and the tactical timeout, as you saw come through, means that discussions have already happened as far as what are they going to spend here, but you have to feel like beyond that, if things do go wrong, what happens in round 19 after this? So I'll be really interested, I think, just to see what Cloud9 has drawn up here for this defense. Zeta's going to be able to put an early wall down to split the middle of the map, and that seems to be the big conversation as far as what exactly we want to do with this opening Viper utility.
Yeah, early wall here by Cloud9 over towards A ramps, forcing a lot of gunfire to break it, so they'll hear at least a couple of players here and trying to set up Zeppa's op, perhaps, as Shank's also taking an op up around this area. In the meantime, Cloud9 Blue defensively are going to take control of B lobby, and this is big. This gives them some nice map control to make up for the fact that they might be conceding middle. As we see, though, Rise had the same stars out in ropes, but no one's actually playing off of it. They're looking to kind of just gather up and play a site.
Star will actually be pulled back by Supa.
Yep.
So yeah, I think you're right. That wall has changed everything from Rise's point of view. No focus towards mid-map here. Going to get a little bit of a head fake from Rise over towards A. It's Neptune who's going to try to clear some space. You have to imagine the Boombot will likely be committed to this. This is keep Cloud9 Blue honest defensively, but really the point of contact that you're looking for is actually over towards this B main, and that's actually going to be the Blades also called in here for Rise.
Yeah, that's good, right? They want something that they can aggress with, right? The op isn't going to be that tool necessarily, so having the daggers to push in with, try to help entry is big.
They threw, so Supa collects all of his stars, throws 3 nebulas down around A, plus the Blades. I don't know if a fake dash was thrown as well, but all of Cloud9 Blue have bailed. It's just Neptune, the only player who's here just playing a lurking role. He's found one, nearly gets more, but beyond that, you've got the ability for Rise to get a free plant. So yes, the res is here, but this is a 4v5. That Rise are feeling pretty darn good about their chances to set up a post plant.
Yeah, but there is a showstopper and main advantage available for Cloud9 Blue. They still have plenty of time to work out this retake, so there's still very much an opportunity for Cloud9 here to take this round.
Leaf, not going to initially go into sight, just throws that out blindly to the back corner, and that actually does not confirm a lot of damage. Up top, Zeppa denied. Rise maybe trying to hold this back. Supa for 2, but Cloud9 stacking together, just wolfpacking this, but nobody sees Supa. Him and Poise have collected for all the final 3 eliminations. And Rise, what a little bait and switch that is. They win the plant, they get the 4v5, and now up 11-7 where Cloud9 are going to have to save.
Yeah, just such a good fake here. Putting Neptune's pressure with Raze into play alongside some false Astra stars to really sell that this was going to be a B attack coming out of Rise, and all the while they sneak their way into B, and then in the post plant, despite being a man down, they avoid the showstopper, they get some great positioning, Superman tees off, and now they're up to 11-7, and they actually force Cloud9 to have to essentially play for overtime. You know, they're going to pick up some shadows here and try to give themselves a chance, but you know, they have to make sure that they have weapons going into what could be the final round of the map. So Rise really have a firm grasp of this game right now. Very good opportunity to take this map away from Cloud9 Blue and cause what I think a lot of people will consider a bit of an upset considering how well Cloud9 were playing last stage.
And all of the hype that apparently has been kind of floating around about them.
There's been a lot of it, man. A lot of people were excited about Zeppa's acquisition and him coming in for Poise, and obviously some of these other guys have shown some great ability last stage. So, yeah, a lot of hype around them, but they're having a tough time here, and Rise is taking advantage of it.
And to be fair, you know, 4 of the 5 players to Rise, we've talked about being the surprise players for a number of different teams in the past. We talked about Dignitas, a couple of others that have been in the mix where they've contended against top-tier teams. The only one not a part of that conversation so far has been Derek, but he's definitely inserted him into it now. Neptune, backside, slow orb. Ooh, gonna be challenged here, but steals with Zeppa, Shanks here for help, and it's clean! It's a flawless round. Supa comes from behind. Shanks able to also help out from top side, and that will be enough to put Rise on map point against what was Cloud9's pick.
Yeah, they have been having a tough time here. They have only defensively one pistol, and the following anti-eco, it's been a clean sweep for Rise since. And again, this is a map Cloud9 have a near 70% defensive win rate on coming into this match. I mean, it has been their bread and butter to play defense. I mean, last stage they looked really good. Again, they were always usually good for kind of like 8+ rounds defensively, and now they've been limited to 2, and not even a rifle round.
Wow. What a turnaround this half has been.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with Rise's ability to not only play like mid-control and be methodical, but also just some of these like little fakes they've run. I mean, they definitely have shown some good diversity here.
Well, they're going to have to showcase that here once more as you're going to get the Viper's Pit mid-map.
Yep.
Supa considering what he wants to do with stars at the moment as the rest of the team stacks around this, and you see all the pings coming through as far as what they're going to want to do to place and maybe just immediately execute off of.
Yeah, they're going to probably smoke off screens A heaven and maybe even just make sure no one's playing that Raptors position. They can also use Cosmic Divide to not have to use necessarily many of the stars for smokes, but use it for other utilities.
Showstopper coming out. Not going to find too much with anything yet, just opening engagements coming through, but Rise will still possess the zone, plus also get the resurrection into the mix. Paint Shells just right out in the middle of the site actually forces Shanks to go to the high ground. Derek watching over the top of his barrier orb just to make sure that if there are any of the Cloud9 members that move through, they are contested initially. Zeppa's going to updraft on top, but over towards Tower. Supa's able to find one. Derek holding on the trigger, finds more, and Cloud9 never get through screens. It's Rise who's surprised first. 13-7, and a set will be coming up next.
Look, you got me. No chance at just one glance to your glory. I needed it to get my back. Do you need anything? You can use me, I'm yours. Do you see anything? You wanna change arrangement?
Welcome back, everybody. We've already got one major upset to talk about as Rise strike and strike hard versus Cloud9 Blue on their own map pick, which was split, a 13-7 tally. And realistically speaking for Rise, I mean, I'm just looking at the statistics right now through Valor GG. 12 first bloods, 13 round wins. Good news when it comes to first blood efficiency for the side of Rise.
Yeah, I mean, they just had a great game through and throughout. I mean, obviously, to me, the most impressive thing was their attacking side, as we're kind of reviewing their first half where they were on the defense, where, again, that also went quite well, where, yeah, Cloud9 were usually able to take a lot of space, but when it came to that critical moment to actually really grasp the site and start setting up for post-plant, they weren't able to quite fully get it done. Then whenever you switch sides, Rise's attack was brilliant. It was a great mix of being able to use mid-control to threaten ropes in A heaven or to split B. Had a couple of, they had like a really brilliant fake on A side one time to get a B execute in. And then, you know, the final round, just a really well-crafted site hit on A with the Cosmic Divide and all the grab wells and the like to just penetrate that A site and control it with confidence. And again, all the players performing very well when it came to the fragging department. Again, kind of a slightly new role for Poise, playing a Sentinel when he used to play a lot of controller. And yeah, just all in all, brilliant game.
Yeah, that round right there, that was that set fake you mentioned. Yeah, really, really clean stuff. And, you know, it's not that, you know, we haven't seen plays like that before in Valorant, but from a team that was recently put together, I mean, that's just not something we'd come to expect to see so early on, especially versus a very well-capable team like Cloud9, but it was executed absolutely flawlessly. And throughout that map, we also had our Credit Karma Instant Karma moment to go back through. And again, a lot of really interesting situations. We had Shanks, the satchel face, also he fell to his death once, but right here, baiting out the resurrection was Cloud9, and it panned out really nicely. So props to sit here for Zeppa to know that he's the sacrificial lamb in the mix.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know, luckily, you know, Raz was able to handle the rest of the match pretty well. Wound up getting the victory despite that one going against them. Again, really impressive from Rise. And, you know, again, now they get to go into their map pick of Ascent, which is a map that they are near 85% successful on from April 4, which is April's kind of when they started getting this core together, right? I mean, Superman's the most recent acquisition, but I think Derek and Shanks kind of both came on around that late March, early April time frame. And since then, I mean, short of losing a big game to Sentinels and maybe a couple other hiccups here and there, they've been beating everybody on this map. I mean, they look strong on both sides of it, so they definitely going to come into this with confidence. It seems like they're still playing that Astra on this map as well, so I imagine you'll still see that coming out from them. And again, they're going to go for that double duelist with Neptune and Shanks coming into this, I would imagine. For the Cloud9 side, Ascent's also been a pretty good map for them. I will say that they should feel pretty comfortable coming to this. They're also very successful on both sides of the map. And I imagine they're going to stick to their double duelist composition as well, although you'll probably see some Reyna, I think, coming out this time around from them on Leaf. Just one of the matches he likes to play that agent. Mitch going to be probably playing the Killjoy, I would imagine. Obviously, we should see Zeta back on the Sova. The only question I'll have is whether or not they also want to play Astra. They were their last few games on it, but they also did just recently see on that map Floppy go back to Omen. So that's one question we'll have to answer later. But all in all, what I'm getting at is that both teams should feel comfortable on the map we're about to play, but now Rise are a map up, and they've looked very impressive. So I think now it makes this matchup a lot more interesting going forward.
And, you know, the other interesting thing is I would say even though Cloud9 Blue has had a pretty stark history when it comes to playing over this map, there is some recent, or at least the most recent results to go off of that were really revealing. The losses versus 100 Thieves and Immortals, they only found 4 collective offensive rounds when they got beat down 3-13 and 6-13. So there were definitely things that we needed to see Cloud9 get back to form in. And I'm just really curious, I think, to see if there are going to be any kind of role swap-ups to try to affiliate that kind of success that we once attributed to them, especially when they were playing with the previous roster. I remember, like, back during, like, the initial Ignition series, they were incredible at this map. But throughout Stage 2, it was good for them to start, a little bit poor for them, and then we didn't see him play it after Challengers 2 at all. We didn't see him play it, I don't think, at all in the regional finals. So,
well, I mean, they did win their last 3 games on it, though, right? They beat Envy, Energy, and Version1 back to back to back, and so they had a little bit of a recovery in the last stage, and again, almost qualified for Iceland off the back of some victories on that map. Just kind of lost elsewhere and just missed out on going the Reykjavik, Version1 taking it instead. So yeah, they were able to right the ship a bit, but again, now the question is, do they stick with Asher? Do they go back to Omen? And can they tidy up after having a tough loss there on Split?
We'll have to see if the recovery will be there for Cloud9 Blue. Otherwise, Rise very well could punch their ticket into the first main Challengers event here in Stage 3. Step away for a moment, come back in with Agent Select when we come back after this.
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang, 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 bang.
Welcome back there, friends and family, Valorant fiends alike. We're back into map number 2 now. Agent Select for a set across our screens. I hold shift here with Dust and Cloud9 Blue, needing a win, and it would have to come at the back end of Rise's most recent map selection. Agents coming across the board, pretty much what we came to expect when we were framing things up in the pre-match, largely. We still have Superman on the Astra, Neptune going over towards the Phoenix, and on the opposite side, combining with the Jet, will be the Reyna of Leaf this time.
Yeah, again, this is exactly the composition I expected out of Cloud9. Really no shockers there at all. This is the only question I really had was Floppy maybe going to play Astra like he had been doing their last few games on the map, or would he go back to the Omen, as there was definitely some recent changes that made Astra not as much of a favorite choice as she used to be, and so we kind of got that answer. Then on the other side, again, kind of the composition I expected, just based on, you know, what Rise has been doing recently on this map. Again, I think the only thing to kind of note is, again, Poise very recently making the swap over to playing a Sentinel role, as in the past he had played a ton of Omen, as well as maybe other couple of characters. I think maybe some Sage or something like that, if I remember correctly. So yeah, definitely a little bit new for him to be playing a Killjoy or a Cypher, but so far so good, I guess you could say.
Seems fair. I'd say it's a pretty fair evaluation. But we'll see what Cloud9 has to offer here for us as, again, mixed bag through stage 2. A couple of great wins, a couple of surprising losses. And we've seen also just to this map yesterday, the amount of Odin gameplay has gotten to egregious levels at times.
I honestly, it kind of is lame to watch. I'm not gonna lie on the A side of the map, just all the Odin wars that go on there. But you know, it is what it is.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Eric, back of your head does not have an eye on it.
Yeah, now they're essentially pinched on up the full play through a main. Floppy bunny hopping his way forward. Not going to find as many as you would have come to expect, but it's still a super 1v3. Completely trapped up by Leaf. First couple of shots will go a bit errant, but eventually Leaf converts on the 3 kills. So Cloud9 Blue aggressive through the A side of the map, find their way behind the play and very easily lock up the pistol.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else to add to that, right? It's just one of those situations where Rise was trying to set up for, you know, a little bit of mid control, you know, get into B lobby, maybe set up a B split, and just did not happen to expect an A push like that, and it came to be very fruitful for Cloud9 Blue. Leaf getting 3 kills to kick things off here, so building the Empress up pretty quickly. Getting, of course, into the upgraded weapons coming into this. Basically a full save, except for Shanks, and then maybe try to go for some type of shorty dash shenanigans over towards this A lobby, perhaps.
Well, they're going to have to definitely make sure that everything stays honest from Cloud9 Blue from here on out to make sure nobody pushes out.
And I imagine that's going to be another
Shanks
staple of Rise. Besides the mid control, they're going to be trying to feed this Phoenix orbs at A as much as possible.
Ooh, different look here. Leaf, aggressive, denied by Supa. That's a weapon that could be collected. You're going to have a challenge here. Zeta is going to be right here to make sure that this weapon stays down. Nanostorm should push him back or into the corner. Zeta going to push through it, but the curveball comes out, and Rise will find 2 kills early. Self-sustain off the hot hands expected, but it's a 5v3 here for Rise with a couple of weapons to work with all of a sudden.
Yeah, a little shocking to see them try to go for that, considering they had the firepower advantage, and I don't know. You're kind of playing into Rise's only chance to win, which is to kind of mess up, go out there, get overwhelmed by pistols, and give weapons away. So this could come back and haunt Cloud9 Blue for sure. Though I will say there's a couple players with very low health on Rise, and Cloud9 Blue still have 3 players standing. Only one of which, though, is really anywhere nearby to help defend this spike plant on the A side of the map. He has to really wait for a rotation.
30 seconds
And,
left.
I mean, all that utility that was Tree is never going to get used by the Killjoy.
No, not at all.
It's just
Speaking of
sitting there.
Killjoys, you actually still have Rise's Killjoy sitting mid-map that could actually make a late play through that tree area. But, I mean, largely, like you mentioned, for the retake, it's not going to really come through much whatsoever. Shake sold the Cloudburst in front of his face and then immediately over towards the shorty. But Floppy, coming through tree, has found 2. Zeppa a 3rd, and then eventually the 4th will be in the mix. But Poised, still an opportunity to try to defend this spike. Halfway defused. Zeppa, long cross. And that's a 3v5 retake for Cloud9 Blue.
How did Zeppa and Floppy just do that?
I have no clue.
I mean, Rise had 5 on 3. They had sight. They had picked up 2 weapons. They had completely avoided all of Mitch's utility over towards tree position.
Right.
They had everything going their way, and then somehow just brute force of Zeppa and Floppy just somehow get in there and get the job done. Just frag out. That is wild.
It feels like Rise, I mean, they never really exited away from the site after they planted. It almost looked like, because you still had members on Classics and a couple players who were low HP, they were just trying to play for trades on top of the site instead of
trying to
playing off
recycle
longer
weapons,
angles.
right?
Yeah.
Trying to recycle weapons and play bodyguard because some of their players did have very low health. So, yeah, just kind of falling prey, though, with those vulnerable players. And Cloud9 Blue able to right the ship after some early skirmishes not going their way. They still get the 2-0 start they wanted. Keeps their economy low, though. We'll say that. Had the full buy from Rise, of course, coming into this. Did a lot of damage that previous round.
Different setup as well, just to kind of mention it here from Cloud9 Blue. All of the Killjoy traps now set up right in front of B with the sentry turret deep to essentially be the activation execution once that starts to spark up.
Yep, and again,
But
they
for the
got
rest of
that
Cloud9
orb.
stacked at A.
Yeah, they got that orb fed again to Neptune. They're a couple away now from that run it back for an execute for maybe even next round, perhaps. Poise also getting some good mid control with his utility to clear out pizza and put that pressure onto market.
Placing swarm grenade.
Yeah, so I mean he's doing a great job just keeping that mid presence and keeping Cloud9 Blue interested. They still have good positioning here for this A attack. They have 4 players strong.
Gravity Well is going to be expired by the time that this paranoia is eventually shrugged off. Lead today, the first couple of eliminations, and then the lineup.
Strike down A.
Beautiful hold here from Cloud9. Poised, who was playing through mid-map, is now by themselves. 1v3, should know Leaf is close. Finds the first one cleanly. Zeppa low on the site. This is a 1v1 for the time being, as you're still waiting for the defensive Killjoy to rotate over, and Poised, who collects the spike, actually will have a look at this. But the problem is, has he completely lost Zeppa, never even fully clears the back boxes, and Zeppa just comes around, makes sure, yep, that is indeed a plant. I'll get the free kill, and Cloud9 Blue go up 3-0.
That's just a case of, you know, Cloud9 Blue putting a lot of trust in Mitch to just anchor that B-bomb site with all of that utility. And then they just had, you know, kind of one person kind of keeping an eye on the spawn push once we did see that Poise was putting some pressure towards Market and Pizza, but they still wound up having 4 players on the site itself when the attack came in, and that's just going to be too much to handle for Rise. They just had no idea they were up against that type of stack.
What you do best.
Couldn't have known, really, and they just ran into a brick wall, basically, and now they have to just go for their greater pistols.
All right, here, what do you got for us, Rise? Leaf already getting over towards Wine. Decides against it, seeing all this interaction happening very early. Derek even going to throw out a shock dart just to make sure that everything does stay pretty honest here through A main. Shanks will be able to earn himself the Blade Storm. Neptune as well, run it back. So alt-door possession for Rise continues to be successful for him.
Yeah, I mean, that just controlling these lobbies early and getting these orbs is definitely a part of Rise's game plan. Cloud9, in the meantime, will get aggressive at middle. Daggers come out from Shanks, and he spots these 2 players middle, only good for 1. Floppy and Leaf out-trade that situation. Now they have the 4-on-3. They're also taking control of A lobby with Shanks. Or Zephyr, rather. That's it.
Really not a chance. Decent look, though, like you mentioned, mid-map. If those kills come up, maybe there's an opportunity for Rise to start collecting weapons. And once again, we kind of had the same conversation we did in round number 2, where numbers and weapons could provide them a thrifty. But that interaction does not unfold the way that I think some of us would have expected. But regardless of the situation, still Cloud9 Blue up 4-0 early. But this the first real look for Rise now on their offense, as they have a full purchase available.
Yeah, this is their second buy, basically. First one, they got crushed by an A-side stack. Now, the utility being pivoted by Mitch yet again, and that's going to make it hard for Rise to know, okay, where's the Killjoy set up at? Where's our toughest line of opposition? Now Zeta has the Odin ready to go and spam this B lobby area.
Shock Dart will push back, but not hit. But once more, Cloud9 Blue aggressive off the start.
Yes.
The Empress, of course, known in, that's Aldron's give you a lot of information. At this point, you just don't peek this. Let this Empress expire and then set up for your execute. At least that would be the normal call. And Leaf has to back away, and it looks like that will indeed be the case here for Rise, just waiting for that to expire.
Yep. Good call here from Cloud9, realizing that the jig was up on that aggression. Good read by Rise to kind of clear that out with the Aldron. Now they'll gather up on A again, though. They're going to have to fight through a lot of Killjoy utility. That could do a lot of damage or do a lot of stalling tactics, but there's not quite a rotation yet from Cloud9 Blue to help assist this A side, and Shanks just charges through.
Yeah, it gets right to the Nanostorm, but cannot get through Mitch, who actually finds one. That will keep the play relatively safe. Run it back, trying to clear out the garden, and caught trying to make the long rotation. Neptune finds nothing with it. Poise trying to rotate mid-map, not going to cut off any defensive rotations, but the spike gets planted, and Derek and Supa will combine for 2 immediately after the plant comes in successfully. So 2v4 situation. Favoring Rise, but Zeta's found 1. Trade will be there, and it all falls on the shoulders of Floppy. And this is a very tough 1v3. Gets the read up top, though. Also knows that he's got 1 down low. The question is, where is Derek? And now he's found him. So Floppy has the information on where these last 2 members are, but has to move quickly. Has an opportunity for Supa, but that's not a gunfight. Supa will lose all too often. Brought down to 2 HP, but neither to say, Rise able to win the gunfight and put themselves on the board.
Yeah, good strong attack into A site, brute forcing through the Killjoy utility and finding success. And again, they're also setting this theme that could be played into later, which is their constant mid presence. You know, Poise has constantly been a nuisance there, constantly using it for flanks or to cut off rotations, and that eventually can be used for B splits through market, or that eventually might cause C9 Blue to reconsider some of their rotations. It can be a kind of a conditioning phase that Rise are putting C9 Blue through, so that could come into play. Also, consider the fact that they still have lockdown available. They didn't use it there. Now they also have Cosmic Divide and Hunter's Fury, so they have a lot of tools at their disposal to, you know, keep the good times rolling, this attacking side, and start closing the gap in the scoreboard.
Opening aggression coming through, and Zeppa finds 1. Dashes away. Cloudburst to make sure he stays safe, but the spam from Derek through the wall will be able to tally up to a 4v4. Also, the out drone now being spent. Zeppa will deny it. Backs down from the elevation, but Rise now knowing that, okay, this
look
is
at
not
this.
a safe angle, but Leaf around the back has cut off the rotation, or has he? Neptune for one to respond, and Cloud9 are actually still committed to this play mid-map. Neptune will throw up the wall to sustain off of, but depending on the timing of this peak, he might be able to find a couple more eliminations mid-map, but he will back down.
This is another round where Cloud9 Blue's mid-aggression has been absolutely caught and might get busted even more as Neptune's still watching out for it. The rest are already running towards A side, but this is great. That kill on middle gives Cloud9 Blue a guaranteed way back to A. Cosmic Divide will block some of the key areas. Also, those stars are really going to make it difficult for Zeppa to stick around and defend this actual take. He's getting lit up right now.
30 seconds left.
Mike will be down, though. Early Hunter's Fury. Derek tags one. If he goes left, he might be able to sneak out a couple more, but no.
Close.
Misses. The opportunity from the double down was there, though. Zeppa up top by himself. The rest of the Cloud9 retake going to have to feed through tree. But the blades are still up. Supa on the cross, waiting very patiently, but Zeppa and Floppy turn this now into a 1v1. Zeppa at low health. Shock dart in a perfect position from Derek. That will clutch up the round. Also had recon both if he needed it, and the conversation of do we want the operator will result in a no as Rise find their second tally.
Indeed, they do, and now the economy starts to run dry for Cloud9 Blue. They're going to have to go for shares only here. They still have a lockdown available on the Rise side of things, by the way. Yes, Hunter's Fury and Cosmic Divide came out. It was for good use. They get control of A site, and they did such a great job with those Astra Stars of just denying Zeppa any comfortability on that A rafter to be able to come out and cause more disturbances. Yeah, he got that opening pick in B lobby early on, but Raz able to recover just fine. And again, they're really limiting Cloud9 Blue's impact with this mid-aggression.
Oh, but Shanks, first one forward, able to find one. That's not bad from Boys, able to go 1 for 1 and read that Cloud9 have heavily hit through B main. Spike will go down successfully, but Derek gets caught trying to reposition, and I think the question you pose is the important one. Why even bother peeking it? So now, weapons callied for Cloud9, and this is a realistic 3v3 they can win.
It is, because they've reclaimed some weapons as well. Shanks is low health at wine. If he gets unchecked, though, it could still be just fine here for Rise.
Oh, Shanks in the corner. Nobody expects to play through wine, and that, I think, was probably the angle that Derek should have been in the first place, but regardless, Rise in a very comfortable position. They will lock down Zeta, and that will mean that Rise, 3 rounds in a row, have gotten themselves right back into the map. But Cloud9 Blue able to bounce back here, at least you would hope. In round number 8, they'll have a full purchase.
It got a little bit scary when their Odin goes down in spawn. Derek, you could tell he was basically trying to make sure that a weapon didn't get collected. But at the same time, he stranded himself guaranteed a 1v1 for the opposition and kind of put himself on an island. Luckily, his team recovered thanks to Shanks having that wine position that went unchecked. The stone unturned becomes big, and again, lockdown still available for Rise, but there's also one available for Cloud9 Blue for a retake, or maybe a hold to stop a site push. So a lot of factors in play here. Also, they could stop the lockdown of Rise with the Hunter's Fury. So they kind of own that ult advantage right now going into this round. Could be a big factor.
Important round here early on in the first half. Mitch positioning all the utility over through B main and market. He's going to be trusted to watch not just B, but realistically left half of the map essentially by himself.
Yeah, but the thing is that Aldrome cleared out the entirety of middle.
Yep.
So, I mean, Cloud9 Blue has some good intel here that, you know, no mid control has been taken yet from Rise. They really are just kind of sitting inside A lobby, and they really haven't even gotten into B lobby yet. So they don't have really any map control. Now, Zeppa does get pushed off middle. That's going to allow them to start taking control of it with their Phoenix.
Oh, this is all bait, though. This lockdown is actually not a part of where the execute is. Zeta's going to be actually forced out of the Hunter's Fury. Neptune is still, again, lurking. These fake plays have been so successful for Rise, but there will not be the opportunity to turn this into kill pressure this time as Leaf finds 2. And Neptune found no success off the run it back. So initially what looked like a really nice little bait and switch for Rise has all of a sudden turned into a 5v3 for the defenders of Cloud9.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to find a vulnerability at middle with Neptune right there with the Phoenix slipping through into the back halls, but he wound up getting absolutely caught. Now they try to tear through manually, but Leaf is maybe going to get the ace here, and indeed he will. Neptune down, Leaf the big hold on A. That fake got read like a book by Cloud9, and they'll extend that lead to 5-3, looking very sharp.
That's incredible from Leaf. 14-5 for him. My goodness. this just holds the position. I mean, everyone's just running right into his line of sight. So thank you very much. That little strafe peeks that he's got all day long, and an impressive tally from Leaf nonetheless. Cloud9 Blue take a very important round, but even still, Rise, with the guaranteed success off their previous 3 rounds, actually can get essentially a full purchase again as Shanks has the Bladestorm available.
Yep, and he'll have the Shorty as well to put to use for maybe like a close range type encounter once the daggers run dry. As they're looking to just load up on B, they put the turret down just to make sure they're controlled. Now they're going to flash through. They bust through that Killjoy utility. Shanks looking to go all the way back halls, but Mitch catches that.
Yeah, Shanks penalized, trying to move way too quickly through. Leaf also put in the Empress, uses the dismiss to reset the fight. My goodness, Leaf is so slippery. And then now finding a third. A little bit of help from Superman. Find that kill. Last one left alive is Neptune. Finally puts down Leaf, but nothing he could do, stuck in the middle of the map. And I see what you're trying to do there, Shanks, but that is absolutely a penalization that will come through more often than not without the proper type of flash or smokes to get him to that position forward.
Yeah, you always got to worry about that stairs angle. It's a common place that defenders will hold, especially when they know they're not playing against the Raze. And, you know, Raze paint shells is like the one thing that will normally be used to clear out that stairwell to help you take a B site. And so when Cloud9 Blues knows they don't have to worry about that, like, yeah, maybe a Neptune hot hand or something can come in and do it. But, you know, Mitch feels pretty comfortable just playing that angle and just watches Shanks run through and able to catch it and shut down that attack. And now Ross has to do more with less coming into this one.
Zeppa? But good point of contact here. Aldrin will push him off the angle, and actually he resets the entire site. But Leaf spamming down, lots of damage confirmed, but still Rise pushing this forward. Not going to expect Leaf to still be holding in the dark cover. Finds one, tries to hold on the trigger, but he has the dismiss and puts everyone right in the waiting arms of Floppy. And then the patient tapping of the Guardian also comes up empty. Cloud9 Blue fire back with a Fury. 7-3 now up.
Yeah, big hold there. You know, obviously Zeppa in a bit of a scary situation when that first shot misses and he's getting swarmed by an owl drone and 3 people swinging top middle all at once, but he's able to dash out of there. Great plays off of the catwalk from Floppy and Leaf. Leaf waiting until just the right moment to dismiss off that orb after spamming his entire mag, baiting them to come into Floppy's opening arms, as you noted. So that was just like a really good series of team play there from Cloud9 as they've now won 3 rounds in a row. They're starting to find their footing defensively on Ascent and, you know, trying to keep themselves in this bracket. Again, if you lose, you have to wait until the open qualifier for Challengers 2, where only 4 spots will be available for that event. If you win, not only are you in Challengers 1 here and now, but you're guaranteed Challengers 2.
Didn't see Mitch go back and forth between the B and the A side. This time it's the defensive setup over towards A.
Yep,
Same
and
kind
that's
of
good.
heavy-handed
I like that.
utility play. Yeah, me too. It just kind of keeps Rise at least guessing in some
Exactly.
form. And on the other side, you've got Zeppa, who's got an aggressive angle at B main. So you're going to get
this
3
is big.
members stacked up over towards A. This is a really good look for
Cloud9
Cloud9
Blue
off
are
of the
so
initial
well set
setup.
up for this round, dude. It's going to be so hard to break this open if you're Rise. But the Cosmic Defy will certainly help things. And those 2 stars are making it hard for Leaf to be proactive from heaven.
And actually, the Nanostorms are already off the table. Boy's able to find the first blood. The gravity wall making life difficult on the site for Mitch, but he's able to avoid the Hunter's Fury and find a response kill. Also denies the recon bolt, which makes Floppy an opportunity through 3. But Supa for 3 kills. Unbelievable. This guy could do it all. I mean, we've seen this in his come up. Everyone's like, dude, Supa's unbelievable, and we're immediately being reminded on why this would be essentially about a 1v4 situation if you can win this 1v1.
Yeah, gotta wait for those stars to come on back, and indeed they will be reclaimed. Now they are available for him to place. Spike is still down in the site. Zeppa having to now worry about his backside because so much time has passed. Doubt has been instilled. But now Superman will move in. He'll be able to get the Spike back. He's got to commit the plant here soon, though.
The commitment will come through. The question is, can he exit? He seems to be thinking that, and Zeppa had no idea where Supa had gone to. So Supa for 4, tripling up amidst the chaos, and securing the 1v1, and now Rise. A chance to go 5-7 after what was looking like a really good setup for Cloud9.
I mean, yeah, Cloud9 had a good setup, but it was just kind of thrown into chaos. You have a Hunter's Fury coming through, Cosmic Divide's blocking lanes, stars are making it hard for Leaf to feel comfortable up top. It definitely got really scary. Then obviously Superman just makes a big play, right? Big individual effort, a quad kill on the round, clutches it up. Had a bit of a, you know, slower game at first, but now really starting to find his footing here, having some big impact in that round.
Shanks, first blood. Leaf peeking to the dark cover, punished immediately.
Again, this
Now
mid
Rise
aggression
can-
has like never really worked out too much for Cloud9
No.
Blue. Like maybe once, one round. It's
Opening
panned
rounds,
out.
yeah, like round 3, yeah.
Well, also they had that one round where like Leaf and Floppy played off of each other inside of a smoke on Cat. But other than that, I feel like Rise has really had their number on these mid pushes. But Floppy going for the double push, trying to flank A main could be huge as we are seeing the setup with that lockdown onto the A site.
Is anyone going to turn around here?
No. Oh, but he misses.
But Floppy misses the shots. Does take down the lockdown, so at least there's some success. But maybe it's only a silver lining here as Rise is still on the way forward. Neptune has been completely negated from this run it back all first half. Zeppa through the smoke for 3. Super trying to respond, but Zeta there to respond in kind, and the Classic cannot come up fast enough. Cloud9, a little slip through tree, gets them their 8th round, and we swap the sides.
Yeah, I think a big part of that flank is while it may not have got many frags that time around that middle, and yeah, they lost the player, Floppy still gets a great timing because now they're boxed in, they have to go A. And everyone from Cloud9's already rotated as well. So, despite taking kind of an early casualty, Cloud9 Blue able to rally around their map control and their quick flank and shut down the round and come out, you know, on top for the half. All things considered, pretty good. Again, they're pretty strong on both sides of the map, so the fact that they come in the second half with a lead, like, they'll feel pretty comfortable with how things are going.
Yeah, and just a couple of absolutely unbelievable individual moments. Obviously, this 4K from Super, we got an ace from Leaf, Zeppa a couple different times coming through tree. I mean, there's so many individual moments to go back to and maybe think if you don't allow those pop-offs, what could have been. But it's going to be a very quick pull. And speaking of pulls, how about hot hands into gravity wells? Neptune trying to come around the corner, but doesn't check his left, doesn't make a difference. Shank's just shooting in circles, finds 2 somehow. Zeta responds with a double of his own, and that will mean Cloud9 Blue with a 3v2 have a plant.
Yeah, they break through. It was a really neat little Gravo hot hands combo. It just was a little late. And so Cloud9 Blue get through. They get their entries. Now they're on site. They have the post plant going. Floppy taking some licks. Mitch and company holding on, and they will secure it. That'll extend their lead to 9-4. Very likely a 10th coming as Rise will have to take a save. So Cloud9 doing exactly what they need to do to try to fight for that map 3 opportunity.
It's curious to see because we saw, you know, a couple of times before where Rise, they would purchase into situations like this. It looks like they're still considering it, maybe. Frenzy's going to come through, and it looks like maybe not the case here where they're going to force. So, okay, opportunity here for Rise maybe to make things interesting off of a Thrifty, but for Cloud9, aggression early. And how about the early Marshall pickup here for Zeppa? With no armor on the other side, Zeppa could actually really pop off with this.
By the way, just to remind you, if we need a 3rd map, it would be Icebox.
Yeah.
Very much in the cards at this point, as Cloud9 Blue have a pretty good grasp of Ascent here so far, and there's not much Rise can say about it in this one. They have to just kind of gamble stack here a little bit over towards B with low firepower and just hope that they guess right and that they can kind of win by a death by 1,000 paper cuts type scenario. As we are seeing Cloud9 Blue look into middle.
Okay, they will see Supa checking for intel, but really not much else beyond just that little jump off the cistern. Neptune close by, poised also mid-map, but Cloud9 after the Leers come out have not actually fully committed. But oh, how about this quad stack peak? Oh my, that was a firing line from Rise, and they find first blood.
Yeah, Cloud9 Blue will now know that A is vulnerable, though, so they'll try to take into that, but the rotations are already pretty quick here from Rise to get into position inside Heaven. Neptune also looking to maybe come in through tree position, but the door will shut on him, but still, the firepower disadvantage is really heavy.
Oh, Neptune does actually get tagged by the alarm bot, not that it'll mean too much here with no armor. Cloud9 setting up a post point, which is largely on the site. 2 players playing through the main archway. Poise is the player on the backside here for Rise on the flank, and it does get checked. Poise is taken down low. Zeta confirms the kill. Now Zeppa up top. Again, the Marshal will one tap as nobody's carrying armor for Rise. And it is just going to be a 2v4 situation, and Rise might actually be considering, with Shanks going along the back, maybe they're just trying to collect this rifle and just give this round up without contesting it again.
Hard to say. Maybe just trying to get some more access with Shanks playing with this frenzy here at a main. Good for 1, but does go down. Now it's just Neptune with the classic. Probably he needs to die here. I mean, he wants to get that money. Indeed, he will fall to the spike. So there you go. Kind of last chance saloon for Rise. Like, they need this full buy to work. Obviously, they have the map 1 safety net. They're guaranteed a chance on Icebox no matter what. but I'm sure they'd like to contest here and keep this one close. But again, if this doesn't pan out, their money's going to be really low for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So this is
and
it.
It's not just this round, it's the next one as well. Like, they have to get to 10-6 before we could really even talk about what would have to happen next year, because this is essentially just a bonus round for Cloud9, so you've got to win this one plus the full buy.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's a talk of 10-7 on the card, so things to consider. Derek spam shots, holding hands with Poise, though, and they actually do find some value off the recon bolt that will tag up one player. That's Leaf, who's brought down to half HP.
Yeah, Leaf taking a lot. Owl drone coming in. Leaf trying to still play behind it anyway, despite the low HP, but Poise making a pay for it. Shanks, or excuse me, Zeppa able to dash in here with his smokes and get up close,
Nice.
but everything going Rise's way.
Yeah, really clean stuff from Poise on these peaks. Also saw the information on the dash through, which allowed Supa a chance to trade things out. Spamming things is Derek. Able to find the fourth elimination, just down to Mitch, who just has a Marshall and a Ghost to play with. Decent damage here, but realistically no chance for the 1v4. And so Rise do secure their 5th round, do it cleanly as well, but this is the big test here coming up here for round number 16. Have to win this one, and then maybe there's the conversation of 10-7.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a situation where Cloud9 Blue are trying to play to that bonus, right? They're trying to get in your face with these faster-paced characters like Reyna, like Jet, but just Lee took so much damage before he even really got through the door. And so they could not really scrap their way through that. Really nice hold there from Rise. But like you said, now here's the real test. They have the full buy. Derek is going to have the Odin to do some shenanigans here on the B side of the map. Quickly, though, the recon bolt is taken away.
Shock dart mid-map actually doesn't connect on the alarm bot. Not that it's all that important, but I see you, Prezi, Yeti, trying to call out that that didn't happen.
Ooh.
So alarm bot denied. Superman quickly over to rotate. Cloudburst going to deny line of sight, and here comes Cloud9 very quickly on the dash through. Poise trying to hold their life, waiting for help, as Superman has not been a part of this play, but is now starting to get involved through mid-market. Meanwhile, Derek holding down the trigger! Finds a couple. Poise now revealing his position. Will also find 2. An absolute perfection from Rise. They take their 6th round, and now Cloud9 back onto the save.
Yeah, big hold there from Rise. I mean, Cloud9 doing a great job getting very early, deep mid control, thanks to that Owl drone, and Zeppa following in behind it, setting up for the B split, but they could never crack open the site itself. Derek just perched in the back with the Odin, lights up the Speedway for 2. His team comes in to collect the rest, and now Cloud9 are on the Sheriffs and 10-7, very likely. Also now going forward, there will be a lockdown available for Rise for retake. They have a Hunter's Fury as well. So they have a lot of tools to use to keep closing this gap on the scoreboard. Now Cloud9, you have this one stinger, I believe it is, on Leaf here.
Careful here, Shanks. Curveball. Rise want to try to challenge this. Careful here, Rise. That's going to be a weapon down that Cloud9 should be able to get possession of. The spike was not a part of this play for Cloud9, but they'll be happy to be at a numbers advantage and maybe even find more than that. Hunter's Fury going to come through quickly here for Zeta, trying to chase down both Supa and Shanks on the site, but it will not connect, and everything will reset 5v4.
B's open, though. They had to play a retake now on B because their Sova had to respect the rotation. And so now he's kind of stuck in back halls. There still is, I think, 1 Nano Swarm over here in B site, and now you're seeing Poise be able to make this rotation, but they're still hedging that it's going to be an A attack, and they're just trying to sit together. And again, they're going to have to kind of just play a retake B now at this point. So this is actually very dangerous for Rise. Now, they do have the lockdown available, and Poise does get a very key frag to at least keep their manpower on equal footing.
And Derek, that's a really good Hunter's Fury to come through. Leaf does not get the Empress solo hero play off the rifle as well. So now 3v2. Leave most of the rifling is down. Mitch has collected a Phantom lockdown very early. 21 HP. Tries to keep this safe. The alarm bot is down. Zeta, he's seen some great information. Mitch just needs to keep his life. Zeta will eventually fall. 21 HP, and eventually the overwhelming pressure for Rise does make their way for a retake. And now 10-7 the count. Rise right back in this map.
Yeah, it got a little bit scary there. I mean, Cloud9 Blue caught a big pick at A. They found an empty B bomb site. They had a lockdown available for post-plant. Like, there was definitely a moment there where things were looking a bit tough, but a great Hunter's Fury came through, helped things along, and they were able to get the key frags they need. They still have their lockdown available. There's no ult in play for Cloud9 Blue, really. This is such a big frag from Poise as well.
And the one that actually was missed, the Leaf was the one that gets rewarded that dropped rifle and immediately goes into Empress, which you have to feel like was one of the reasons why Rise stuck towards A so long.
Yeah.
But they take that long rotation, and Leaf immediately falls afterwards as a second elimination, so the Empress finds no value.
I'm wondering if Floppy is going to try to go for the alt back B, and they're just going to try to do a split there, where they're going to use it to go like mid control. He is the spike carrier, so they're maybe setting him up to be able to alt the spike wherever they feel they need him to. Big stack from Rise at A. Big clearance from Zeta on Market to get deep mid control for Cloud9 Blue to set up a B split on an empty site once more.
Super, though, this is a different look. Him and Derek playing very passively in the backside of their spawn. Leaf.
They're playing the lockdown. That's what they're doing.
Okay. Leaf has revealed himself, and now Rise are going to be challenged on a rotation over towards B, where Derek is going to have to come back to help clear mid-map. This is going to be difficult for Rise to come back over this direction.
Oh my god, if Leaf gets kills here through back halls, it stops the retake play from being possible.
Derek,
they walk by him.
Oh, they don't look, and Derek finds 2.
Oh my god.
Oh no, it's all gone wrong for Cloud9.
They still have a spike plant, but again, lockdown available for Rise, and they have a 5-on-3.
The Owl drone.
Yep.
It'll clear mid-market. That was the entire intention. Doesn't matter about tagging one on site. You know there are players on site, but they don't expect it. He's sitting mid-map. He's found one. Floppy runs into the dark cover looking for a timing, but misses it. Poised able to find that elimination. Zeta from the boathouse, though, keeps things alive. Caught with the recon bolt out, but no elimination to speak of as of yet. Cloudburst comes down. Mitch onto the site. He'll find one. Mitch for 2. Just down to Derek, who cannot turn in time to double up or find what would it need to be 4. And Cloud9 Blue salvage the round. 3v5 again.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I just can't believe this. Derek gets these 2 kills. They have lockdown available. Floppy goes down. Yeah, they don't. Oh, they did.
Oh, no, it did come down. Oh, I missed that.
Just non-fragging out before it mattered. I mean, that is so. I thought Rise had that for sure. When they get Derek's 2 kills and they have lockdown available, I'm thinking, all right, Rise, they're cooking with gas here. But
you know, I'll say this. I guess it's if you're going to use the lockdown, I think, you know, from our standpoint, yeah, okay, pardon us, we may have missed it in the live action, but you would feel like if this is going to be used, why not use it sooner to help clear some of that space over through Boathouse and things of the nature? It just, that was used late to clear off the back of the site.
I think they were hoping they wouldn't have to use it because they had a 5-on-3, and so until they lost their player at middle, they probably felt we can win without it. We can save it for next, you know what I mean? I think that's why it came late.
Shanks, this is the opening shot, distracted by all of the Cloud9 members coming through. A bunch of Cloudbursts. Shanks very quickly goes to the Cloudburst and tries to back away, but Zeppa beats him to the punch over the top of the boathouse. Derek able to respond for 1, gets a second, stays alive and healthy. Recon Bolt comes through, knows that he's got contenders nearby, and spams through the wall! Derek for 4! Superman cleans things up, and Rise bounced back after a bit of a foul to keep things within 3.
I tell you what, when Derek does play on site, I mean, that guy has been an absolute brick house. Like, just nothing seems to be able to break this guy down. He is built for the storm. You know what I mean? Oh, my goodness. He's done so well with this Odin in the back. Just crushing all hopes of Cloud9 to grab the site. And now Cloud9 are back to basics. A Stinger for Leaf, pistols for the rest, except for Zeppa, who will also have a Spectre. And actually, I think Leaf traded back down to a Frenzy just before the round started. So I'll just try to gather together here into A lobby, get that orb. And try to just plow in here. But, I mean, Neptune's up close. He's got some assistance as well.
Early hot hands to deny the initial play through.
Yeah.
Here comes the call, though. Zeppa over the top, dealt with. Beautiful shots from Superman, and Shanks at range. Finds a second through the Nebula. And Cloud9 Blue stuffed on their first attempt to A.
Yeah, I mean, great combo of utility and personnel for Rise on this A side to shut down any hopes that Cloud9 Blue pulling off an eco. They still have spike possession. Or still have, you know, their presence at A lobby, but there's a 3-man A defense in place that has no real reason to break from it. They have mid and B covered with their other 2 players. They can just keep holding firm on what they've got, and there really should be no way forward for Cloud9 Blue. This should be a 9th round for Rise. coming up here in any second.
So we've had a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas though in this series. Supa will make sure the operator holder of Shank stays safe, so Flawless will come through. 9-11 the tally.
Yes.
And Rise are going to have some tools to play with here, specifically the Hunter's Fury and the operator still in the mix. Cloud9 are going to be empty outside of the lockdown coming into this next round.
Yeah, and the Hunter's Fury basically will cancel that out more than
Absolutely.
likely. Unless like kills happen earlier on in the round to stop those ults from coming into play. Right? That obviously is possible. But again, Derek has just been an absolute handful to lock down this B side. Cloud9 Blue have yet to have a real answer for it. They've gotten space with some of like their Reyna Jet aggression, but they just haven't really connected much more than that.
Oh, bud. What a match this has been.
Ooh, what an angle from Shanks to avoid the turret, but still have a look at the crack here. If anyone decides to commit more, Aldrin will come through, though, and push him off the spot. That gives some B-lobby control to C9 for the lockdown to go down, but it's all the fake.
Yep.
It's a huge sham.
The lockdown
I
is
tell you what,
instantly
though, Rise
destroyed.
isn't buying it.
No, not at all. Lockdown is just instantly denied, so why not just hold your positions over towards A? Supa inside the site finds the first, no problem. Has an idea where Zeppa is, but Poise inside the site will confirm that. Zeppa low, not going to find anything besides the initial trade, and Supa holds on to the A site. The spike is down, and for the last two Cloud9 members, they have to come through glass. They read this. Neptune finds the first, knows now that Mitch is here. The curveball comes out, but Mitch able to sidestep and stay alive. Recon Bolt also sidestep, but not going to make a difference. You can only dance so much, says Neptune, and we've got Rise 10-11, but Cloud9 right back to sticky financial situations.
Yeah, again, I like the thought by Cloud9 Blue to use a lockdown as a fake, but when it gets shut down with a Hunter's Fury right away and they don't feel any additional pressure, they're able to keep their A defense in place, and it comes up through. I mean, for all the praise you've given to Derek on anchoring that B site, Superman has been a force to be reckoned with on the opposite side, having a heck of a game in his own right. They have a run it back now available coming into this round. Hunter's Fury for Cloud9 Blue, but that's about it as far as ults are concerned for them. Tactical timeout going to come into play here, as this is a very critical moment. Rise are very much on the precipice of tying this thing up and keeping the 2-0 dream alive. Cloud9 Blue seem to be running out of answers on the attacking side. Again, I feel like we've seen their ability to get space into, again, they still have some very skilled players in Zeppa and Leaf who are able to get some entries at times, but it feels like they can never make that next step forward. Like, yeah, they get control of lobby. Yeah, maybe if they decide to go B, they're able to get to the switch and, you know, get market, but they've never been able to truly penetrate those back halls or really even get into the B site clean. And then on the opposite side of things at A, yeah, again, they might get in sight, but it seems like they're still losing out on some of the very key battles once it comes to those like critical moments to actually secure the plant and secure some post-plant control. I mean, we're seeing some huge form out of Derek and Superman in particular.
All right, well, Sheriffs with both SMGs in hand for Cloud9. They have some kill potential and light armor, so we've seen Cloud9 win situations like this in the past, but Rise are absolutely holding strong. And I'll be honest, we haven't talked about this, but Neptune has not been an impact on this second duelist yet. The run-it-backs have been largely empty, and the kill potential outside of him getting a couple of good curveballs and hot hands has really been pretty absent. So
yeah. I will say this, though. Shanks is starting to pick up steam, too, now that he has an operator in his hands defensively. And I think that's helped reinforce Derek and Superman in a big, big way to help Rise out.
See what happens here, though. Cloud9 already getting a position with Leaf all the way forward. He should be able to hear the rotation through mid-map. This comes down to can he find eliminations. He is one of our SMG players, and Supa says, not on my watch. Shanks inside the dark cover. No problem there. Also gets in floppy for a second. That is around the back of this play, but it's going to be him and Zeta that have to do something, and Neptune reads this very nicely. Curveball comes through, doesn't even need it. Neptune for 2, call his name, he comes to respond, and we go 11-11.
All square. The one thing is, Cloud9 Blue have been doing a pretty good job about getting control of middle and threatening market side, and I feel like that's going to be the ticket, is just to kind of keep up with that. Keep getting that mid control. Keep putting that pressure on back halls and market, and then I think they just have to be able to work together a little bit better on clearing out that backside of the B side by the stairs so they can actually start making some progress together as a unit rather than getting disrupted and kind of broken apart. They're basically forced not to be on the same page because of how Derek and company are playing some of these safer spots towards the back of the site. So I'd like to see them stay with the mid control. I think that's good. I think they just need to kind of take that next final step, right? Build off of that. Use it as a launching pad. They haven't quite gotten to do that yet.
Here they go. 3 members to the middle of the map, still holding on to the spike as Floppy. Run it back being called out early. Shanks not only denying the Al drone, but also sees that the duelists have made their way forward. And Neptune, he gets through B main, finds a kill into Floppy. That's your spike carrier down, and beyond that, of course, the confirmation at the end of the run it back that more is to come.
Oh, no.
Shanks gets the information off the Al drone, and Leaf falls. Now it's a 3v5. Cloud9 need to find a way to respond back in some form. Otherwise, you're looking at an 11 to 12, and Shanks hits again. Derek through the wall, confirming a bit of damage. And I don't know how you do this if you're Cloud9 with a 2v5, but you have to go for it.
Yeah, you do. You got to stop Rise from getting to map and series point, but it's going to be difficult. Like you said, only 2 players in. They have 100 series available. That's about it. They have no real control. Neptune's in a key spot to watch them come out B main or to watch any type of market press. I mean, Cloud9 Blue are so split up from each other. They have to just hope for a big individual play. And, well, Mitch gets Superman down. That's putting some threats on spawn. But Neptune makes a great maneuver back into market to collect him. Now it's all on Zeta and Shanks with the hat trick of the operator. Rise are 1 round away from bringing this new team into the first challengers against a team that has had so much hype around them. And again, it's not unmerited. Cloud9 had a great last stage. They were so close to Iceland. And they've made some great roster acquisitions, but Rise are playing so well right now.
Yeah, Challengers 2 and Regional Finals, Cloud9 went flawless outside of Sentinels. They were beating everybody, and then after they lost the Sentinels, obviously they lose to Version1 to miss out on their spot. So it was a bit of a surprise for multiple reasons, but now the force buy has to come through to try to force overtime. Empress early for Cloud9, but look where it's popped. It's right in front of the A site, which is exactly where Poise is set up for.
I think Cloud9 Blue did a good job getting that early mid control. They just did not account for Neptune making that run it back through B lobby and getting such a key kill to slow everything down. They keep getting disrupted. Now they're going to try to plow into A. One last hurrah. Oh no, they've been caught.
Denied. Mitch will find a response, but Poise, the Nano Swarm confirms on the Leaf. No more Emperors on the table. 4v3. Floppy able to get the spike planted, but shock darts were coming out, confirming a little bit of damage. Actually, it's being exchanged both ways. A bit of a pinball going on up top. Hot Hands also coming through. The Nano Storm to block off some of the space, but even Neptune throws the Blaze Wall in. Mitch denies what was going to be a really good recon bolt, but Zeta finds a couple of kills. Derek on the way in just has the LMG trying to hold on the trigger. 1v1! Shanks confirms it, and Rise upset Cloud9 Blue to get the Challengers 1!
Indeed they do. Cloud9 Blue, one of the favorites to make it, are out. They will have to wait for the open qualifiers. We'll talk more about it after a short break.